Like, what made you that interest in writing about Pakistan?
Yeah, you're asking exactly the sort of question that I expected.
Why does it matter for me to understand about Pakistan?
You know, you have younger generations, you have Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. They need to know.
When discussing about Pakistan, they either go fully nationalistic or self-censor because they worry it will seen as an anti-Muslim. Where did this part come from?
Gandhi.
Some of the so-called liberal friends get offended. Where does this come from? Like, is defending or like going against a Pakistan is anti-Muslim?
This is a very difficult question to say why. You're here in India. Why do you hate Pakistan? What is the necessity to hate Pakistan? So are you going to say that I don't give a damn about India?
Why don't we see Hindu genocide post, Hindu genocide happening in Kashmir, or the Bangladesh recent one, or even the Pahalgam one? Why don't we see that?
I must be Macaulay's great grandson because I was never taught anything about our own history. So we've bent over backwards. If you value your history, if you value your culture, don't get eliminated. I'm not saying eliminate the other person. You have to make sure that your book is the constitution, not some other book.
How does this counterfeit currency has been handled by India?
Pakistan was producing Indian currency and its economy took a hit.
I don't know any religion in the world where they say to kill other people.
I think we need to stop saying things like I cannot imagine and things like that. Better we start imagining. It is there. It's very much there.
Pakistan spends around 4% of its GDP on defense.
Lies.
Should India support Baluchistan liberation army?
According to me, Pakistan should be broken up into 4 pieces. You should stop pretending that if we are good to Pakistan, they will be good to us, they will not. You slap, I slap, you slap, I slap. I stop slapping, you keep slapping me. I start slapping you back. And you should go just bomb the crap out of them. Yes, the US bombs the crap out, but doesn't finish them, the crap remains there.
Is Kaveri now a national emergency?
You want me to cry? You want me to cry? You know, it is so stupid. We should have poured in money and done it. Kaveri is currently working. We have a currently working Kaveri engine. Put it in a plane and fly it. So they get their narrative out very well, you know, whether it's the BBC or the Washington Post. Pakistan has done better than us in those areas. But our constitution does allow change. How to change it and, you know, how to bring everybody under that is my personal view. It may be debatable, but this is how it is. Okay?
Hello everyone, I am Sonu Patel. Welcome to second podcast of Indic Thought Forum. Today we are going to have a talk about a country which has been born out of religion and call itself as a democratic country. But still none of their elected leaders have completed full term. So we have our guest Dr. Shiv Sastry, popularly known as Dr. Shiv. Shiv is a surgeon by profession and he has a various interest in aircraft, defense and geopolitics. Shiv is one among the first one to capture the images of Indian aircraft and all the Air India shows. Welcome to podcast, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, let's begin. We want to introduce Dr. Shiv in your own words. Like, what made you these interest about the geopolitics and interest in aircraft defense?
Yeah, actually, I have been interested in aircraft since 1962. So it's a long, long time. My cousin, who's now no more, was a Veer Chakra winner. He's a pilot, Wing Commander Suresh, who took part in the Battle of Longewala in 1971. So in 1962, he and there's another very famous Air Marshal Philip Rajkumar, who's here now in Bangalore. They came to our house in Pune in 1962 and they gave me a book of military aircraft. And I just fell in love. And I've been following military aircraft since then. But what really took me off was, I went to the UK, I finished my medical education, went to the UK, worked there, and I came back. And then once the internet came to India, I joined what is called as bharatrakshak.com. That was the world's biggest Indian military website. And I contributed to that website and I was an admin on that website. And this is where We started with defense discussions, and that's when we went on to geopolitics as well. So this was in the late 90s. We started around 97, 98. And 98, we had the atomic explosions. And then Advani gave Chabi to Pakistan, and Pakistan exploded their weapons. And then, 1999, we started the Kargil war. And then after that, we had a whole lot of terrorism, 2001 parliament attack and things like that. So that got me interested in geopolitics as well. Till then, my main interest was in aviation and things like that. So it went on to geopolitics. And the thing which I have mentioned in my book as well is all research is the same. No matter what you want to research, you have to first read all the literature that's available. And then you can summarize it if you want, then add anything extra that you know. So the medical research that I did for part of my surgical thesis was exactly the same technique that I used for my Pakistan book. I collected up all the literature. I collected up hundreds of references. Unfortunately, I stored them all on my hard disk because they go away. You have something in some Los Angeles Times or Washington Post, all these book portals. I stored them up, and then I used all those references to write my book on Pakistan. So that's how the book was born.
That's great. Now I feel every family should have a one person who serve for army. So there that gives a birth to nationalism to everyone in that family. You have written 4 books, mainly Pakistan, Failed State and its Effect on India, Blood on My Hands, Tale from the Operating Room, Operation Sindoor, How Pakistan was brought to its knees in 88 hours, Aryan Invasion, Myth or Fact. So, being a surgeon, only one out of these 4 books are from like medical field. Like, what made you that interest in writing about Pakistan or like the operations Sindoor, the acts which Indian defense has taken part?
Well, it's just my personal interest. That's all. This is my personal interest. There's a lot of medical literature. Of course, the medical book that I wrote is currently only an e-book. Was because I didn't want to forget. When I retired, I said, let me not forget all these things, and I wrote it down. But like I said, my main interest was in aviation, wars. So Pakistan featured because the thing is now with my sort of age, I've seen the 1965 war. I collected literature after the 1965 war. I still have it with me. And then I saw the 1971 war up close. And then I followed all the wars. So Pakistan was a sort of natural thing. The Aryan invasion was again part of the forum, Bharat Rakshak Forum. We got interested. And I found, my grandfather was a big man. Okay, I have not inherited anything from my grandfather. Actually, started the Mysore sandal soap factory. The formula for Mysore sandal soap was created by, and the format was created by my grandfather. So he had a huge library, and I looked at that library, and I found books. I found stuff that was absolute nonsense about Aryan invasion and things like that. So I got interested in that, and I followed the same technique. But I the only thing different I did was because the internet was there and you have all these references, I downloaded dozens of 600, 500, 400 page Western books to see where their thoughts came from. So I've put that in my Aryan invasion book. And again, because I'm from the medical field, I found it reasonably easy to go through the genetics part and certain other scientific things and all that. And the funny thing is, again, when you're in the medical field, there are certain funny things that the thing is, you learn to read certain images properly. For instance, whether they are photographs, satellite photographs, or, of rivers, say Saraswati River and things like that. So you learn a way of analyzing images. So these things help me in writing the Aryan invasion book. That book is my pride. Yeah. So Operation Sindoor, of course, I wrote because I followed it very closely and I was the first off the mark and I had things to say from important things to say, which nobody else has said. So I said it.
Yeah, that's great. Like everyone in India should read that Aryan invasion theory because they need to understand what is truth rather than what the woke media or the public social media or some biased individual has to say in the social media. Now let's talk about the one of your famous book, Pakistan Failed State and its Effect on India. Being a Gen Z, I'm working in software industry, 9 to 5 job. I work in Bangalore. Many of my friends work in Hyderabad or Delhi, for that matter, any city. Why does it matter for me to understand about Pakistan?
Yeah, you're asking exactly the sort of question that I expected. Uh, I'll let me go back once again to my medical career and surgery. Okay, so I became a surgeon, big shot. I'm now a surgeon. I'm now a young surgeon. And then years passed, and I started going for yearly conferences. And after 10 years, I started thinking, what is this? The same old things every year, every conference. It took a certain degree of maturity for me to realize that I'm not the only guy. I'm not the only guy who needs to know. You have younger generations. You have Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. They need to know. What do they need to know? Why do they need to know? Why is this old codger ranting about Pakistan? What is important about Pakistan? So it is important to talk about Pakistan and say why it still matters to us. And let me stop here, and we can carry this conversation on depending on how you'd like to take it forward.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Pakistan, origin of Pakistan, where did two nation theory come from. We'll talk bit more in detail. Now let's move to next point. Being a Indian and Hindu, especially Hindus have this psychological block when discussing about Pakistan. They either go fully nationalistic or self-censor because they worry it will seen as an anti-Muslim. Where did this part come from? You mentioned this in the first chapter itself.
Gandhi.
Okay.
Okay. He was the one who started this. He probably had a reason to do it. He had to bring everybody together. So he watered down everything, and he corrupted the song. Which is Raghupati Ragha Rajaram. He corrupted, put his own words in, and said Ishwara Allah. See, for Hindus, and this is something I was speaking about just 10 minutes ago when I came here. Technically, no Muslim can support anybody who is not a Muslim. That is the law for Muslims. They may talk to you and all that, but ultimately, if they are following the law, if they are following their teachings, they are not supposed to. You are a kafir, you are a non-Muslim, you are not the same, and you cannot be an equal unless you are the same. The same is true for Christians as well, although they have diluted their mostly because of the Western countries. It's not like that for Hindus. For Hindus, we have no specific hate against any other. We don't look at somebody automatically and say that he's bad. So this made it very easy for us to talk about secularism. Now, secularism is a word that has been murdered in India. It's been murdered. Secularism actually started in Europe. There was what is called as a 30 Years' War. In this 30 Years' War, there were different churches in Europe. In 30 Years' War, I think 25% of the population of Europe was killed, not just by war, but by pestilence, plague, and things like that. So at the end of the 30 Years' War, they had what is called as the Peace of Westphalia. So this Peace of Westphalia, that is where secularism came in. It was decided that once there is a country with a particular ruler, the people can have whatever religion they follow. The country should not interfere. The state should not interfere with the people's religion. This was specific to Christianity. It was not. Nobody knows anything about Hindu. In fact, if you ask, sorry, problem is, when you read too much, all these funny thoughts come out. I think the person who's defined this very well is S.N. Balagangadhara, okay, known as Professor Balu, who has defined how this word religion itself was appropriated by the Christians. So we Hindus were told that we have a religion. No, it's not exactly we don't. For instance, for dharma, you don't need God. In fact, even gods are supposed to follow dharma. Our deities are supposed to follow dharma. Everything, the entire universe follows dharma. So anyway, this is getting a bit too complex. So the problem about secularism is we made a secular constitution saying everybody is equal. Now in the Indian constitution, if everybody must practice their religion freely, then the Muslim must be allowed to convert. He must be allowed to convert people. Christians must be allowed to convert people because that is what his religion says. Whereas Hindu religion does not say that. So this is one of the problems we face currently. Apart from other things like control of, somehow there was this feeling that Hindus should be controlled. They are the bad people, and other people are all nice, all bunnies. They don't need control. Let them be free. Control the Hindus. So, this is the sort of manner in which our country has come up since independence. And these are things that we need to look at, Gen Z need to understand and look at. Let me be very clear. I'm not talking about revolution. We have a constitution. We follow the constitution, but our constitution does allow change. How to change it and, how to bring everybody under that is my personal view. It may be debatable, but this is how it is. Okay?
Yeah, that's nice. Like being a Hindu, I can follow any god, or even I can be an atheist. But most of the Abrahamic religions, they only say our God is the only God. So they intentionally mention, like, put words like kafir, or we can talk more about like Darul Islam, Darul Harab in the coming part. So now let's move to next part. So being a Gen Z, we talk more about Pakistan. When I criticize more about Pakistan or Pakistani army, some of the so-called liberal friends get offended. Where did this come from? Like, is defending or like going against a Pakistan is anti-Muslim?
This is a very difficult question to say why. Somehow in India, secular people have confused being against Pakistan as being anti-Muslim. Now, the difficult part is like this. Unfortunately, Islam itself causes people to mandates that people should hate Hindus, hate non-Muslims. Pakistan was formed out of hate. Okay, Pakistan was formed out of hate. And have you heard of what is called the 1946? Just 1 year before
Independence.
Direct Action Day. Have you heard of a thing called Direct Action Day? So, Direct Action Day was when Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, all the Muslims came out in Kolkata and brought out knives and started murdering Hindus. And that was just 1 year before partition, 1946. So, Pakistan has been formed out of hate. So, one argument is okay, now Pakistan has been formed. You're here in India. Why do you hate Pakistan? What is the necessity to hate Pakistan? Leave them alone. It's a different country. It's not a problem. So, why is Pakistan a problem? It's easier to say that Pakistan is not a problem if you're living in South India. But if you're living in North, if you lived in Punjab or if you're living in Kashmir, okay, then you really know what Pakistan has been doing. You've really faced the bullets, you've faced the murders, your ancestors have been murdered. So, one question that crops up is, are you Indian? If you are in India and you are an Indian and you're living in South India and you feel Pakistan is not a problem, fair enough, you're allowed to think that way. What about other Indians? Are you going to call them Aryans? Are you going to call them North Indians? I'm a South Indian, I'm not a North Indian. They are Aryans, I am Dravidian. So are you going to say that I don't give a damn about India? I don't give a damn about India. Pakistan is fine. Unfortunately, if you are Indian, you cannot say that. You cannot say, I don't give a damn about India. You have to be Indian. You have to go by the constitution. That means you have to care for every single Indian. Caring for every single Indian means you must care for those who have suffered. Hindus who have suffered. You need to care for Muslims as well. But what I would demand is Muslim loyalty to India. Even today, there was a video of a woman in Kashmir who says, Iran apna mulk hai. That is, Iran is our place. We get oil from Iran, right? Fair enough. If Iran is your mulk, you should go to your mulk. But if you're in India, you should follow the Indian constitution, care for every Indian. Okay? So if you care for every Indian, then you will understand how Hindus were murdered. India is basically a majority Hindu country. You have to care for Hindus. You can care for Muslims by all means. Give them everything you want. I'll come to that about giving them everything you want later. but the murder of Hindus in 1946, Direct Action Day, 1947 massacres. Then it went on. 1971, 3 million people were killed in Bangladesh by the Pakistani army. Did you know that about half of them were Hindus? No. Why don't you know about this? That is because Indira Gandhi, in order to prevent communal tensions, hid the fact. How do I know? How am I saying this now? It's 1971, a long time ago. How is this guy sitting here and saying Indira Gandhi said that? It's come out in a book called The Blood Telegram. So this guy was in Bangladesh at that time. He opposed what America was doing. He was the American consul to Bangladesh. And he's the one who's put it on record that it was majority Hindus being murdered. So we were talking about 1971 Hindus being murdered. Then you talk about Kashmir genocide. All the Kashmiri Pandits were pushed out. And then you had all these terrorist incidents. You've had 1993. Sorry, I hope I'm not talking too much. I have a tendency to talk too much. I have a personal incident. 1993, I had come back to India from the UK and I was going back to get some training in some specialist surgery. So those days we had to fly to UK via Mumbai. And then 1993, I was in Bombay airport. The British Airways plane took off. And flying over the ocean, we were near Karachi. So all the lights went off. Then the pilot announced that we've lost all our generators. There's only one emergency generator working. We have to go back to Mumbai. Then I asked, why don't we, I was asking somebody, why don't we land in Karachi? They said, no, we'll go back all the way back to Mumbai. And of course, this is the first time in my life, the plane landed in Mumbai. There were 20 fire engines and ambulances following us. Nothing happened. We were fine. That night, we had 24 hours delay. I was put up in Hotel Sea Rock. And the next day, I took off. Few days later, bomb blast in Mumbai, 200 people killed. Sea Rock also, there was a bomb. So, these are bomb blasts in 1993, 2001 Parliament attack, a whole lot of terrorist attack, 2008. So, continuously, there have been attacks from Pakistan. And the people who've taken responsibility for these attacks have been in Pakistan.
Okay, to add to that point, we have seen many social media posts with respect to Palestine. Still, the people who post about Palestine don't know what is happening, what those Hamas people have done to Israeli people. We see lot of posts. Why don't we see Hindu genocide posts, Hindu genocide happening in Kashmir, or the Bangladesh recent one, or even the Pahalgam one? Why don't we see that?
Okay, I think the first thing we need to do is to make sure that these things remain in people's consciousness, and is to make sure that people know what true history is. Okay, even the history, I'm not sure about what history is taught to Gen Z, but definitely I was taught nothing other than Mughals. Okay, I was born in Karnataka. I must be Macaulay's great grandson because I was never taught anything about our own history. I look at Hampi, I look at all these things, look at all the history we have, and never taught anything of the sort. I was taught only about Mughals, all these dead fellows, and their the graves that are there in Delhi and things like that. So the first thing to know is to make these things public. Now, how do you make them public? Books are not going to be read. You have to use what is available now. Use social media, use whatever it is, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So use the modalities that are available to you in order to tell the truth. Okay, and this is how it is. There is no other go. There is enough literature, and if you're a scholar, if you've done research, yes, do write. Do make sure you write it. Nowadays, publishing is very easy. You can publish ebooks. You can, that sort of thing. So it's necessary to do these things to make people aware. You have to, and the other thing is the population is continuously increasing. It was maybe, I can't remember, maybe it was around 500 million when I was a young man. The internet is very new and social media is very, very new. It's 2026 now, maybe 2010, 2015, this thing has started. And the number of people now with phones and things who have access to this it's very new. Use it. Use it enthusiastically and make full use of it to let people know that this is what it is.
That's great. Like when Khomeini dies, or like killed in the Iran, there are a lot of mourning faces in India. But that doesn't happen when they do same with the Hindus. We can replicate that.
See, the thing is, on social media, see, look, basically, like I said, Islamic teaching says, no, I'm not saying all Muslims, but when you go deep inside into the core Muslim society, the people who are, right in the center, they consider non-Muslims as kafirs, as this thing. So an area which is not dominated by Islam is called Darul Harb. That is a house of war. And an area that is dominated by Muslims is called Darul Islam. Now, Islamic society, I've written about this, but not in the book, is structured around. It's like a. I'm not sure how many of you people are STEM graduates and how many people are aware of. People must have heard what is called as a missile. Okay, a missile, when you have to suspend oil in water. If you put oil in water, the oil will float water. If you want to make a good mixture of it, you have to use an agent like soap. So what happens is you have little droplets of oil, and around that you have soap molecules. There is part of the one side of the soap molecule attaches itself to the oil, the other half is happy with water. So Islamic societies are like that. You have a mosque, you have within audio range of the mosque, there are people living, the women are kept in there. At the periphery are the more moderate Muslims who show one side when they are in their societies, they show the other side when they have to mix with kafirs. We can call these people moderate Muslims. Many of them are perfectly moderate Muslims. They are, like any of us. Some of them, they show both sides. Here they are like that. They will not complain if there is terrorism in India, but they will perfectly complain if something happens in Palestine. So you do have a lot of these people. We need to understand how the society works. But it is, I demand that an Indian citizen should show loyalty to India. There is no other option. Your book can say anything you like, but that's our book is the Constitution. Our book is not anything else. Okay, so this is as far as I see and if this requires certain changes in laws, yes. Once again, I may be talking too much. To me, this whole secularism sounds like Indians, Hindus being upset that Pakistanis are going away to Pakistan in 1947. 1947, a lot of people voted for Pakistan. Some people went. Many people who voted for Pakistan stayed here. And we were begging them. Say, how did we beg them? We said we'll have secularism. And in this secularism, we gave them more rights than what they have in Pakistan. In Pakistan, you know that 4 wives are not allowed in Pakistan. Pakistani law doesn't allow 4 wives. We allow them 4 wives here. You see, you have 4 wives, have triple talaq, have whatever you want. Be as you are. Don't change. Don't come to our secular schools. You be like that. So we've bent over backwards. This is not right. We can't have this.
So, like Pakistan is born out of religion thing. Like
Yeah.
they're born out of Muslim as their core religion. Why did India didn't become Hinduism?
India, basically, we were never like that. Okay, see, if you look at, if you go back, we started with Hindu Dharma, okay? Then Buddhism grew up in India, Jainism came up in India, then somewhere along the way, in fact, if you read my other book on Aryan invasion, there's a very deep connection between Zoroastrianism and Hinduism. In fact, the Zoroastrian holy texts and the Atharva Veda are very, very similar, except the language sounds are different, but there are common passages. And it can be shown that the Rig Veda was the oldest and that Atharva Veda came later. Atharva Veda and Zoroastrian. So we have the Zoroastrian religion that's connected. We have the Sikh religion that's connected. And so the thing is, we Hindus, we have a nation where everything is accepted or everyone is accepted. But we were sort of innocent, maybe innocent to the point of stupidity, because we thought that everyone will be with us. And somehow Buddhists, Jains, everybody survived with us. Even Zoroastrians, Parsis survived with us. We never expected this thing that came and started killing us. And they came and said, we said, okay, come with us, come with us. And we sort of just lay down and got killed. So this is something Hindus need to learn now, that we will get eliminated. If you value your history, if you value your culture, don't get eliminated. I'm not saying eliminate the other person, but bring in the changes that you need to let everybody survive together. And if there is a problem with from some other ideology, you have to make sure that your book is the constitution, not some other book.
Yeah, that's true. Persians are more safe in India than in their own country,
Absolutely.
to be honest.
Absolutely.
When we talk about Pakistan as a state, we only know about the atrocities done by their army or during cricket matches, their cricket players. How is normal Pakistani citizens living in their country?
The percentage of non-Muslims in Pakistan at partition time or just after partition was 15%. It's 4% now. Okay, the population has gone up by 150 million, 200 million since then. So what happened? It tells you a lot about the normal people. Okay, now the normal people, and the other thing is, you need to look at, the thing is, when India and Pakistan started, they were very similar. They're very similar in the sort of percentage of poor people and percentage of wealthy people. If I have to use an analogy, India was a train of 100 carriages and Pakistan was a train of 25 carriages. And both the engines are together, and the India train has slowly, very slowly gone ahead. So for all these 60, 70 years, until recently, the person sitting in the Pakistan train has always been able to say, look, India is with us. We are the same. We are the same. Although they have been falling behind. And they've been falling behind in every aspect. The country, and as you rightly pointed out, I think in the beginning, that the so-called democracy, no democratic government has survived.
Completed their
Yeah,
full term.
so it's always the generals. The country is owned by the generals, run by the army. The army runs the businesses. There are about 2,000 families. There are about 44 families, 2,000 business concerns and things like that run the country. They are not bothered about anybody else. So that is why you slowly see what is governance. What is a government supposed to do? What should ideally a government is there to not just manage law and order, to make sure that everybody has food, there is food distribution, people have jobs, people have health care, women have safe pregnancies, give birth to children. Your population is too high, help them to keep the population rate down, manage the economy. They are not bothered. Slowly you find that all these things are deteriorating. Education is not coming up at the same rate. The number of women who die in childbirth is still very high. The number of babies who are born who pass away is also still high. So in all these things, Pakistan is falling behind. Falling behind. I'm talking 2026, it's fallen behind quite a bit. But if you go back, 1965, just before the 1965 war, Pakistan was one of the Asian tigers, like Malaysia and Singapore used to be, because they got a lot of aid from America. They got plenty of aid. They had, excellent roads, aircraft, military, and things like that. Why did they get this aid? Why did they get this aid? They got this aid because Pakistan joined America in what is called as the Cold War. Do you know what does Gen Z
Gen Z.
does Gen Z know what the Cold War is? Would you say Gen Z know what the Cold War is?
To be honest, most of them know just World War One and World War Two. That too, like for the marks. We didn't study the history because to understand history. We studied history to get some marks.
Yeah. See, what happened is at the end of the World War Two, America, Britain, and the so-called Allies and Russia fought on the same side. Finally, it was Russia who gave the last blow against Germany. But Russia was communist. Okay, the USSR was communist. These people are democratic. In the 1950s, the US said we are against communism. We don't want any communists. And so they started, they were against the Soviet Union, and they built a whole lot of nuclear weapons. America's initial idea was that we will destroy Russia with nuclear weapons. That was their idea. They said we'll destroy. They actually thought this, They will. Russia also said, okay, we'll have nuclear weapons and we'll destroy America. So because they scared each other, mutual deterrence, the Cold War started. So they were against each other, but they were not fighting. In the Cold War, America was making allies everywhere, and Pakistan became an ally. And so they started supplying Pakistan with money and weapons and things like that. So Pakistan went to the American side in the Cold War. For us, excuse me, we had no option. We did not join the Soviets, but what we did was we just we had to take Soviet help and get Soviet weapons.
You talked a lot about the economy of Pakistan. To be honest, during till 1960s, 70s, Pakistan was way ahead than India. And even there is an incident like after independence, one of the so-called father of India suggested India to give 55 crores to Pakistan, whereas like Pakistan was fighting against India for Kashmir.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Is it
right.
fact? Or
It's
like,
a fact. It's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact. Constantly. See, for instance, we have paid them money. See, the thing is, how shall I look at this? There is, in game theory, there's a game called tit for tat. You and I are sitting opposite. In this game, I slap you slap me back. I slap you slap me back. Okay? It goes on like this. Until at one time, I think that I won't slap you. Maybe you will not slap me back. That ends the game. If you don't slap, don't slap you, then you also don't slap me. The game ends. Peace. But with Pak, we have tried this. We have said that okay, we won't slap them. Let them slap us. We won't slap them. They have never stopped slapping us. So the game does not work with Pakistan. We have tried to be elder brother. We have tried to be, very nice to them. Partly because we have been pacifist, because we have convinced ourselves that we don't want war, which is fine. We don't want war. Nobody who wants war. And second thing is, we have been desperately poor. And so our concentration has been on education, healthcare, and things like that. To a certain extent, that has been a mistake in the past. You have to spend on defense. To some extent, you have to spend on military also. You can't, because, the thing is, 1962 was a wake up call. Excuse me. We decided we needed a military. 1965 war took place because Ayub Khan, the military leader of Pakistan, thought, okay, these fellows Hindus, they are going to now start harming themselves. This is my last chance to take Kashmir. So that is how he started the war. Okay, he started the war something like the Kargil war. He sent infiltrators. In fact, Ayub Khan is famous for having stated that the Hindu will run at the first sound of a gunshot. He actually said that. You fire one shot, the Hindu will run. He'll fold up his dhoti and run. So, but that's not what happened. Obviously, Lal Bahadur Shastri did a good job. But we just, we carried on, being good to them. Didn't work.
yeah, like even they thought we had a war in 62, we would lost badly, but that in reality it happened otherwise. We
Yeah,
lost
correct.
badly. Yeah, you mentioned about women, minorities, or children. So, how does education in Pakistan work? Or, like, what does 10-year-old kid learns versus what does 10-year-old kid in India learns?
I won't talk about India. I'm unhappy about the rubbish that we are sometimes talk. But let me talk about what I read about Pakistan. See, I think Pakistani education probably was somewhat similar to Indian education till 1971. After the 1971 war, General Zia-ul-Haq took over and he started Islamization of Pakistan. And along with Islamization of Pakistan, they started having a subject called Pakistan Studies. Now, in Pakistan Studies, they are taught a lot of false things. And everything about, see, for the way, because the army has to rule, they have to show that they have won every time. They can't lose. And for them, survival is winning. We didn't lose, therefore we won. It's happened even last year in 2025, exactly a year ago. They survived, so therefore they won, sort of thing. So in Islam, in this sort of Pakistan studies education, this stuff has, they've been taught that India is bad. And he started Islamization of the army also, because you don't have to be great in the armed forces. You have to have Quran studies. You have to know the Quran properly. So this is what has happened. There are a lot of examples of how Pakistan is, and I don't think even America has played an innocent role in this. When they were funding Pakistan, do you know that when they were Pakistan formed the Taliban. Taliban means student. So Taliban started in Pakistan, and the Americans used to give literature in training the Taliban, saying that if one Taliban kills 5 Soviet soldiers, how many will 7 of them kill? This is the sort of questionnaire that this was encouraged. This is all very fine, and even there is a very famous interview that is between this guy Zia-ul Haq, the general, and Ronald Reagan. And Zia-ul Haq says, "All right, don't worry, we will lie that there is nothing happening over here. It is all right to lie in Islam for a good cause." So this is how it is. So Islamization of Pakistan started in 1973. So 1973 to 2023 is 50 years. 2026, 50. Children who started their education in 1973 are now in their 50s. And children who are 10 or 12 years old are in their 70s. These people have all studied hate for India. It's not going to go away. So you need to remember that no matter how good you feel about Pakistan, you have 200 million people who have been taught that you are bad and you need to be punished. And you need to understand, you need not do anything, you need not kill him, but understand this is what is going on. Understand that a neighboring country has this problem. Look at it, study it honestly. You can. The other thing is, if I may carry on, there is a lady called Christine Fair who's lived in Pakistan, and who studied Pakistan very well. Of course, she's been acted quite obnoxiously, so a lot of people don't like her. But nevertheless, she's written a very good book on Pakistan and on the Pakistani army. And she mentions that, the Pakistanis are so good, they are so hospitable. If an Indian goes to Pakistan, he feels so good that, he will never come back saying Pakistanis are bad. He'll say, wow, they're so good, why can't we be friendly? Fine, you be friendly. But look at the truth, look at the killing, look at the terrorism, look at the continuous assaults on India. You need to look at both sides as well.
We have seen this so many times. The journalists writing about good things about Pakistan. Even there was an incident where Pakistan invited journalists from USA. They provide like 5-star hotels, and they provided travel facility to travel to Kashmir to write against India. So how does this system work?
See, after Gen Z again, after Operation Sindoor, all of you would have seen this thing about narrative, how to set the narrative. Indians have been very bad in setting narratives. So, in those days, say Kargil, this is a Kargil war incident where foreign journalists were taken by aircraft to near the border. They could sit near the border, view India through binoculars, and army men with white gloves served them sandwiches and tea and drinks. Whereas in India, you had a guy with a pawn chewing pawn, telling. So, the other thing is, even if you look at the late 90s, early 2000 and things like that, see, there is a way of photography. When Pakistan photographs a Pakistani crowd, they will show only good looking girls. They will not show poverty or anything. Whereas we will show some bent person, somebody with one chappal broken, no other chappal. We are sort of very honest. We are like that. See, there is a thing called you have to win a propaganda war by doing it properly. What did Pakistan do? Today is what? 9th. 7th of May last year. What happened is, nothing happened. Straight, I read the original article. The next day in foreign press, this article appeared from Pakistan. So beautifully well written article using AI. You can chat GPT shouting at you from that article, okay? And it's such a beautifully worded article saying, how Pakistan shot down 7 Indian aircraft and Indians were running. And we guys, we swallowed it up. Then we were all mourning and crying, oh, we lost aircraft, Pakistan is winning. Narrative war. So, you have to set the narrative. Unfortunately, the problem with narratives is you have to tell lies. You can't set a narrative by telling the truth. You have to tell some lies. How we are going to manage it, I don't know.
Now I think the generation is big changing. Like there are journalists who are coming up with a nationalistic ideology. Still there are journalists like Ravish Kumar or Dhruv Rathi. Still people believe them. It's not the normal people faults, but there are people. Now there are journalists like Shiv Arur who says the truth. So I think the times have been changed.
Times are changing, yeah, that's right. The younger generation is coming up, and the photography is also getting much better. So yes, but it's necessary to remember that you're handing over from an old generation of idiots. We don't want the new generation to be idiots. They need to know the past. They need to work against it, because the other side has not changed. Pakistan, it has gone down. I've named the book Failed State. But states don't just fail like that. See, you can have a government that is very rich. Again, a personal incident. When I got married, I was in the UK, and I used to go to work, and my neighbor was a Pakistani doctor. And he got married too, and he was newly married. And then his wife, Pakistani wife, called my wife to look at their album, and my wife saw this. And the jewels, the gold, the platinum. And this fellow was not a very senior man, his father. He was not a very senior, but he was filthy rich. So, although the elite are very rich, the poor are definitely very poor. But you don't, what does a human being need ultimately? Some food, some shelter, and things like that. There's plenty of that. All those rivers running through Pakistan. So people are welcome to be poor. And there are Muslims, they say that, okay, Allah has given us this, and it's because of India that we are like this. So once you tell the people like that, they will continue to remain poor, and these fellows continue to remain rich. So this has been going on for years and years. Now, a failed state, see, I write an exam, I fail. I get the result, I failed next day. Previous day, I don't know. And next day, I failed. Well, countries don't fail like that. They go down slowly, slowly, slowly. What happens in the long term? 1971 was a case where Pakistan failed, where Bangladesh broke off. Now you have a civil war going on in Baluchistan and in the north. So what will happen, we don't know. But we need to be aware of this. We need to be ready to take action if necessary. Why did we take action in 1971? Because 10 million refugees came. So if tomorrow, if refugees start coming, what are we going to do? Just let them in?
No.
Or we may have to, or if terrorism keeps coming, we have to do something. So we also have a duty. Friendship does not mean, that, you may be my friend, I may be your friend. But if you feel it's necessary to slap me every now and again, I need to have some kind of counter. I need to perhaps slap you once or twice to tell you, yes, let's be friends, but stop this. It has to be transactional.
Yeah, that's true. You mentioned about many things. Now let's talk about the Operation Sindoor, where the Pakistani journalists or the Pakistani media houses were telling they have destroyed 7 flights of India. This has been one of the viral meme where India Pakistan match, one of the Pakistani player shows this 7 number and shows the symbol towards Indian fans. How true is that? Because in war,
Sure.
destruction of weapons is inevitable, whether it's however strong you are. So being an Indian citizen, how true is this?
One thing is, I'm very happy to hear you make this statement. In war, destruction and losses are inevitable. Now, if India had any losses, India has chosen not to reveal it. India has chosen not to say too much about Pakistani losses either. So I'm not going to enter into that. But what I do want to comment about was, in 2019, we had this little Balakot attack. The next day after the Balakot attack, there was a dogfight in which Abhinandan Vartaman shot down a Pakistani F-16. And what did Indians say? What us Indians, patriots, we said, where is the F-16 wreckage? Okay. So at that time, we believed the Pakistanis. Pakistanis said nothing was shot down. We believed that. This time, Pakistanis said that 7 were shot down. Where is the proof? Show the proof.
We have talked a lot about the education in Pakistan. What is the source of education? Is it like India, we have schools, or is it like madrasas? Because in Pakistan, there are around 30 or 35,000 madrasas. So, what is the main source of education? So, in Hindu culture, if you want to become a priest, they have to do PhD, they have to study a lot. So, does these Maulvis or mullahs have the same education?
A mullah can never have that sort of education. So a lot of children in Pakistan just go to the madrasas. But the regular schools are not much better. They're really not that much better. They get a good regular education, but they have these things, Quranic studies, Pakistan studies, and they have, I've forgotten the name of that, sort of defense studies. These children are taught about certain military things, and so people who get this English education, they learn some of these things as well, which our children never learn. Our children are taught all sorts of. I don't like comparing the two; they're two different things. But no, there's a lot of criticism for the education in Pakistan. Illiteracy is high. I think, particularly in women, I think illiteracy, not literacy, illiteracy is more than 60% among women, means they are not going to school. And it is claimed to be illiteracy is around 40% for men right now. So these are huge numbers if you look at it. If you say the equal numbers of men and women, 250 million Pakistanis, 125 million, about 60, 70 million women are illiterate. And they're all producing one after another, more Pakistanis.
So, with respect to women, educating both gender is very much important for country's growth. Where does Pakistan lag behind this education? Are women just a baby producing machine? Or what happened to Malala, who she got Nobel Peace Prize for promoting education in women or safeguarding women rights? How does Pakistanis treat women? Is it with respect to Pakistani state or is it with respect to Islam culture?
Islam culture mostly. Woman is one fourth of man. Okay, they have all those issues. Women education is not encouraged. They have to live in. You'll never see these in photographs, but they are there. This, I mean, the figures, the literacy figures speak for themselves. The birth rate figures speak for themselves. I have not checked up the latest birth rate, but I think it's something like 4 per woman. So once you have a woman who's illiterate and just giving birth to a lot of children, the other thing is some of those children are dying at childbirth. Others will live. There's poverty because you have to feed more mouths. So you have all these problems cropping from that. The fact that the women are illiterate, there's no birth control, and in any case, Islamic teaching does not encourage women to. And you see the way, even in nowadays on videos, even in the Pakistani parliament, or even in videos of the Pakistan, what is it, the failed marshal, what is his name, Asim Munir,
Asim Munir.
openly, sort of looking at women leerily and saying things that, oh, you're good looking or very nice. So basically, Pakistan is completely different in that sense. But you won't see it because they're very good at hiding this. They're not going to show you this. And I know some people, I actually know a person who used to work for RAW. He's retired now. And when his family were there in Pakistan, they were followed all the time by ISI. Always followed by ISI. They were not allowed to step out anywhere else. So you'll never see all these things. But it's there, and it's documented by some people who go to Pakistan and write about it, which is why you need to read about Pakistan. Now, the thing is, recently a lot of people have not been writing, but because everything is known, I think because everything is known. But no, these, what shall I say? These things that we talk about sort of normally, women's education is important, girls must be educated. These things just don't count, not in a place like Pakistan. It just, they'll say it. The wealthy people will say, yes, yes, they're, women are equal. It's all nonsense. They're not. Women are not equal. The criticism is that unfortunately women are not equal in India also. Now, see, sorry, let me just dive. Yeah. There is a thing, there is a kind of analogy that I myself developed. It's not rude or anything like that. Two people are talking, and I say, look, your shirt pocket is torn. And you immediately look at me and say, so what? Your fly is open. Okay. So you're changing the subject from your torn shirt pocket to my fly. Pakistan, what happens is when you talk about Pakistani women in India, you say Pakistani women are like that. They'll say, but in India also, women are treated badly. So immediately the subject is changed from the topic of women in Pakistan to women in India. Women in India, women all over the world are actually more suppressed than men. This is an unfortunate fact. But there are differences between India and Pakistan. Women have a little bit more freedom. In India, there is a little, at least there is more open acknowledgement that we need to do something for women. So, it's very difficult to talk about Pakistani women as such, because immediately the subject gets changed to what about you? What about your women? If we leave out this, the fact remains that the Pakistani women, if you ask my opinion, are worse off than Indian women. They are worse off in many ways. This is not to say that Indian women are in a great position and everything is all right. So let me put it like that, so that I don't end up telling lies that everything is fine here and that everything is bad there. It is just much worse there. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Times have been changing. We have given like enough freedom to our next generation women. Pakistan proclaims itself as a protector of Muslim. We have seen many women or wives of the kings of Saudi Arabia like traveling in a or wearing a bikini in public beaches. We have seen all these things. Why don't we see this in the Pakistan? There are instances where the wives of top leaders enjoying in the foreign countries. Why don't they reciprocate this to the common citizens?
See, I think you need to get back to the history of Islam. When Prophet Muhammad passed away, he did not leave behind a system of government. It was assumed that his followers, the person who took the mantle of leadership of the Islamic community after him, that this person would follow all the ideals of the Prophet Muhammad. It didn't happen that way. As soon as he died, there was killing. Thak, thak, thak. 2, 3 people died. I think one survived who was the Shia. He went to, I'm not sure about that exactly. We need to look that up. So, right. So, the thing is, you need to have, when you have governance, you need to have an army, you need to have somebody to manage the economy, and you need to have the spiritual, the literature. All this got rolled up into one. If there was just one general, that one general would control everything. He would control the mullahs also. So, all Islamic governments are working like that. Even what you talk about, the
South
Middle Eastern sultanates, they're all led by a strong man. The strong man and his women can do anything they like. It is the others who have to follow. So, same thing with Pakistan. Okay, you find that all these girls with Pakistani flag dancing and saying cricket and all that, looking like modern girls, hair uncovered, are that minority who belong to the elite class. And I have coined this term actually, the rape class, RAPE, rich Anglophone Pakistani elite. Anglophone meaning English speaking, Pakistani elite. The rape class of Pakistan are like that. They are a minority, perhaps 1 million, perhaps 2 million. Okay, you see only them. They have all these freedoms, they can do what they like. Okay, but the rest of them are all suppressed. They have to wear burqa. Their testimony is 1/4 of that of technically. Yeah, so it is a kind of schizophrenia. Pakistan survives on a kind of double personality. And typically, what happens is, very often you find that the general who is a leader speaks in English when he wants the West to hear, and he speaks in Urdu when he wants his. And even Urdu is not the main language in anyway. It's mostly Punjabi. Other languages are there, but they speak in Urdu when they want to address the Pakistanis. Typically, so it's a kind of schizophrenic state. So women are really not in there are women. The thing is, there is a man who wrote about. Well, I won't go into that. I'll talk about it later if it comes up. Otherwise, I won't stop talking. I'll talk everything
Yeah.
in one go. Yeah.
That's so tragic. We always see a cricket match and we see grass is always greener on other side. Thinking that the women in Pakistan is having a much more higher freedom than the Indian women. So let's get back to, you mentioned about Sunnis, right? So Muslims have this many sects. Pakistan being a Sunni majority country. How are the Ahmadiyas or Sunni and one more Shia, right? So Shias, Ahmadiyas, how are they treated?
They are not treated well. You have to declare that you are an Ahmadiyya in Pakistan before you can get a passport. I don't know if they get passports. And the best part is, God, I keep forgetting his name. There's
Abdul
this,
Salam,
yeah,
Abdul
yeah,
the only Nobel laureate from Pakistan from science category.
yes, that's right. Exactly, Abdul Salam. So what happens is, she and General Zia-ul Haq was, excuse me, known as the butcher of Shias, butcher of Gilgit, butcher of Gilgit. See, this Gilgit, Baltistan, and Indian Kashmir have more Shias than Sunnis. The rest of India is Sunni dominated, and he has butchered Shias. So but again, there is a funny kind of relationship where I think in the higher echelons, the more elite echelons, there are Shias who sort of work, but on the ground, every now and again, you see a Shia mosque getting blown up by a terrorist or a suicide bomber in Pakistan. So these things are very much there. See, there is a book called The Arab Mind, written by a chap called Raphael Patai. Okay, and what he says something, he's written it seriously. He says that in this the Arab Bedouin mind that got transferred onto Islam works this. He has said it in this book. He says, for these people, it is you and me, it's me against you first. Otherwise, you and me against our cousin. You, me, and our cousin against the rest of the village. You, me, our cousin, and the village against the next village. So what happens is, as long as there are kafirs to hit, they will hit kafirs. When there are no kafirs left, they will hit Shias, they'll hit Ahmadis.
That's so tragic.
It's tragic, but see, the thing is, uh, these people are not allowed to think differently. This is a fact. And we find it very difficult to accept this. And the problem is, we as Indian society, we have all these debates. So the minute you criticize someone and say they are like this, they'll say, but you are also like that. So the important thing is to understand, what are you talking about? Are you talking about them or yourself? They are two different subjects. Yes, talk about yourself. You are an idiot, you are a fool, you are bigoted, you are a woman killer, whatever. You talk about yourself, this is one subject. The other subject is Pakistan. You want to talk about Pakistan? Talk about Pakistan. Don't mix up the two. The fact that they are similar is one thing. They're not 100% equal. There's something different there. So you need to talk about that separately and not mix it up with what happens in India.
Yeah, that's true.
If you permit me, right in the beginning of the book, I used an analogy. I said India is a box of 100 eggs, and Pakistan is a box of say 20 eggs. Now it's transported somewhere. In the India box, 10 eggs are broken. In the Pakistan box, out of 20 eggs, 4 eggs are broken. So what happens is, in India only 10% are broken, whereas in the Pakistan one, actually it is a much higher percentage that's broken. But then, they'll say that, see, more eggs are broken in India. So it is very easy to point at India and say India is bad. This is what happens every time. Pakistan lives on that. Pakistan survives on saying how India is worse than them. And our train is going ahead of them very slowly. Our 100 carriage train is going very slowly past their 20 carriage train.
Yeah, you mentioned about Ahmadiyas. We talk about more about Abdul Salam when we talk about the nuclear program which is conducted in Pakistan. So now let's talk about the Baluchistan, where the part of the Pakistan where they are trying to get separated, where they are being killed by the Pakistani army, like they did in 71 in Bangladesh. So what exactly is happening in Baluchistan?
See, basically, Baluchistan has a very low population, and I have to refer back to Baluchistan was a place that could have joined India. They wanted to join India, but we were in our wisdom we said no. So that is a mineral-rich place, and Pakistan is pretty much ruled by Punjabis. Okay, the Punjabis dominate over everybody else. That is the most populous province, that has the most generals, that has the most senior people, the richest people. They don't care for the Baluchis. The Baluchis are fighting for freedom. But what Pakistan is doing is they're trying to place themselves as the, what shall I say, route to the Indian Ocean for China. So you have this Belt and Road Initiative,
One per
and coming through the Karakoram Highway, excuse me, you have this Karakoram Highway, and they are trying to exploit Baluchistan, but it's not happening. They don't like it. The Chinese don't care that Karakoram highway is not going to work. Actually, if you look at Google Earth images, you follow the highway millimeter or kilometer by kilometer, you find that it just cannot take that kind of traffic. And there is a part of it, the actual pass is 5,000 meters high, and there's a lot of avalanches, roadblocks, and things like that. But the Pakistan army tries to dominate over the Baluchis, and the Baluchis are fighting for freedom. That's all. I'm not sure if there is anything else the development that should have taken place in Gwadar port has not taken place, and even the Chinese are being attacked, and it's a sham. The Pakistanis offer things that they can't see. They've taken everybody for a, that is one thing you got to give to these Punjabis in Pakistan. They've taken everybody for a ride. They've taken Americans for a ride for decades. Even now, they've taken America for a ride with their offer of peace with Iran. So they took China for a ride when they said Gwadar hasn't developed at all. It's amazing. You got to admire the Pakistanis for the way they take people for a ride. It's all very nice, you can laugh, but it's not getting the country anywhere. One. Second thing is, they can do what they like. They stop attacking us. Stop using religion to attack us. You have now got 250 million people, most of whom hate us. Or in camera or something in social media, they may say, yes, yes, very nice, we like this movie. But look what is happening. You have, the population of non-Muslims, Hindus, has come down from 15% to 4%, and still they are being persecuted. It's a problem country. It's a problem country.
Yeah, that's true. Hindu population in Pakistan was 15% in 1940s.
Yeah.
Currently, it is around 1.5%.
Yes.
Still, we don't know the latest census.
We don't know. Yeah.
That might be less than the...
Might be less than that.
So now let's talk more about the regions of Pakistan. Pakistan is majorly divided into 4 parts: Sindh, Punjab, Baluchistan, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
Pakhtunkhwa.
So even the Baluchistan having a higher resources, most of the government positions or wealthy positions are held by Punjabis.
Yes, correct.
So where did this come from?
Came from Punjab.
Punjab.
Came from Punjab. Punjab is dominated because those people, see, when partition occurred and Baluchistan, see, that's a sparsely populated area, mostly villagers, whereas all the educated people, the people who migrated from India, all the engineers, the bureaucrats, the teachers, everyone, they came to Punjab and Sindh. But Punjab dominated. Of course, Sindh also are not very happy with Punjab. It's a Punjabi dominated country. I think Punjab is 60% of the population. And Punjab is, and I hate calling it Punjab, I call it Pakjab anyway. But Pakjab is a problem. It's a serious problem.
We talked about economics during 1960s. Let's talk about the economics now in Pakistan. So what is the exact status? How does Pakistan earn money? Because what I see is every once in a year or twice in a year, someone has to bail out Pakistan. What exactly is this? Because is the situation that bad? Because there was an incident where South Korea sent their research scholars to study about the economy of Pakistan in 1960s. But the now situation has been so worse that Pakistan is performing so bad than some of the African countries.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think it's very obvious whatever money is generated in Pakistan. See, there are a few industries. I think they manufacture some sports goods, some surgical instruments, and things like that. And yes, weapons. They do have weapon manufacture, weapon exports, and things like that. So there is some earning. But by and large, an economy cannot just depend on that. You need a lot of things. You need healthcare, you need education, you need to have infrastructure. It's just not happening. No, all the money is going towards either the rich people. Everybody has, all these rich fellows have homes abroad, their families have got passports abroad. It's a badly managed country. The economy is in the doldrums. They keep getting bailouts, but they somehow find a way to make themselves useful to somebody and get some extra money. And of course, let me make a statement that I have made before also. They've made themselves very useful to the Americans. Okay, right throughout somehow they made during the 20 years that the US was there, so-called fighting when they fought the Taliban and left with the Taliban in power, those 20 years, they gave Pakistan a lot of money. How was Pakistan making money that time? By services. What services? Transport. You have American aircraft, American arms coming in, trucks. You have Pakistani trucks going across to the Afghan border and depositing there, making money. They made money that way. Then, of course, the other very important thing which we don't realize is they were making a lot of money from India, from counterfeit money. Until what was the year that we had demonetization? 2016.
60.
Until if you look at the graph of Pakistani economy, after 2016 or 2017, 2018, it just went down. Pakistani economy plummeted at that time. So really they were making a lot of money from India with counterfeit money. And we were being too friendly with them, I think. And it really had a big effect. So, yes, they do have something. They have some agriculture. They have some manufacturing. They do have these things, but these are just not enough. They've still. The other thing is they've got Chinese investments. Okay, the Chinese have put. Chinese are very clever. They don't give aid like America throws dollars at them. But these guys, the Chinese say you got to pay us back, and whether the station is producing money or not, Chinese say you keep paying us. But
we'll talk more about the China's investment, CPEC, more in the podcast. You mentioned about IMF bailing out Pakistan every time. So whenever IMF gives money to any other country, it asks for something in terms of result. So IMF doing this for so many times, what is it expecting from Pakistan? Are they getting any rewards?
I don't think IMF is getting anything. I think you need to look at who is giving all the money in IMF and how it's helping them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is basically is that. Yeah. So basically, they keep bailing out Pakistan because politically, Pakistan is useful for the countries who fund IMF primarily, which is both America and China. And if you look at it, see, I keep saying this. America wants to be the top power in the world. Okay. Now, the average American consumes, I think, 20 or 40 times I forgot the figure, as much as one Indian. Now, if the Indian economy expands and Indians become richer, what happens? We are competing for the same resources, not just oil. It could be anything. Could be rare earths. We are competing. So once we compete for that, then prices will rise. America does not want that. So whether we like it or not, India is in competition with America. Pakistan is only one of the symptoms. If America goes down, Pakistan will also go down with it. So we need to understand where our interests lie. Pakistan is part of the problem. We need to handle Pakistan, but we need to improve our economy as well. And when we improve our economy, we are going to be in competition with China and America. And we have to get this in our minds and we have to compete. We can no longer see ourselves as a small country, with nothing. We have to compete with the biggest powers in the world. Pakistan will take care of itself.
Yeah. As you mentioned about counterfeit currency, I have not seen any big industries coming out of Pakistan. Other than one is drug industry, like the heroin, ganja, those, and the counterfeit currency. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Like terrorism is also a biggest industry, right? Yeah. So how does this counterfeit currency has been handled by India? Because according to claims, RBI has said that 99.3% of currency has came back to like them. Is it just the 0.7% of the currency which is produced by Pakistan?
I have no idea. I only know that Pakistan was producing Indian currency and its economy took a hit. Whether RBI is telling the truth or not, I have absolutely no idea. I have no clue. I can't get into those discussions at all. I really don't know. Because, this is part of the argument. In fact, these arguments keep coming up. There's a video right now which I put on, I had made it last year. It's 100% proof that a JF-17 was shot down. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't want to change the subject. It's very obvious. I can give you the link to that video. It's on Twitter. So what happens is now people argue against it by saying, but This was shot down in Pampore. This was shot down there. There's no such information. Video is video. So same way, when it comes to what happened, demonetization happened. Demonetization happened. It affected some people in India, but it affected the Pakistan economy. Whether RBI got all its money or did not get its money, I have no clue. It really doesn't affect me anyway. And if somebody is going to argue with me and say, but RBI got all its money, what about the Pakistan thing? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. We are talking about Pakistan. Don't come to what RBI said. Okay, we are talking about Pakistan, and the government is on record. People from the government are on record to say that Pakistan was hit by the demonetization. I think that is as far as I can go on this subject.
One more big industry is this drug thing. Every once in a while, our army catches these illegal drugs. Every big concerts happen, there are like cases where drugs has been found. So how big is this industry? Because what it has been caught by the police is very marginal thing. That too in like hundreds of crores. So how much in real numbers these drugs are coming into India?
A lot. I can't tell you the numbers. Punjab is particularly affected, I believe. Yeah, it's right across the border. Punjab is seriously affected. But even Bengaluru, if you are Gen Z, you probably don't have children yet. When you have a child, you will want this child to go to what you think is a good school. You put this child into a good school, you find that there'll be a child is invited to a party, and then gradually your child is given drugs. This is happening. I have seen kids like this over here. My children are grown now, but they have been sort of exposed to this sort of thing. Drugs are a serious problem everywhere. I think drugs have to be dealt with in two ways. It's not just Pakistan. Saying Pakistan is responsible for our drugs. Yes, Pakistan is largely responsible. But there is a problem with, because drugs is a big money-making thing. It's an internal problem. We have to ensure that our people do not go into this thing. So yes, Pakistan must get part of the blame. But we cannot say that Pakistan is bringing drugs in. Therefore, if we fight Pakistan, drugs won't come. It won't happen that way. We'll get drugs from the other side. We'll get drugs from Myanmar. We'll get drugs from the sea. America has a huge drug problem. There are submarines coming from South America, private submarines full of drugs. So the drug problem is related to Pakistan, but not only Pakistan.
Okay. That's true. The drugs problem is faced by every other country in the world. So Pakistan is in the poverty state. They don't have like every citizen don't have a 3 times food or a good education, good infrastructure. Still they manage to have 170 nuclear warheads. How is this possible?
See, a country like Pakistan has got plenty of water currently, and they've got good, they've got good agricultural fields. Crops grow there. They grow basmati rice also over there. They have cows. They eat cows. So it's probably wrong to say that they don't get 3 meals a day. They probably get 3 meals a day. They may be getting more meals than a lot of Indians. Okay. What is development? See, you need to know certain things about what a good population is. So you need to have health care. You need to see, statistics like how many women are dying in childbirth. Out of 1,000 women, how many women are dying while delivering? And out of 1,000 children or 10,000 babies who are born, how many are dying? What number of children are getting vaccinated so that they can survive? Now, again, I won't call it a Gen Z thing, but after COVID, vaccination has taken a hit. Now, all development in the world, including India, is because of vaccination. You and I are alive because of vaccination. Otherwise, many of us would have died. Now, is that happening in Pakistan? No, it's not happening. So, a lot of children are getting diseases and dying. So, see, these it's not necessarily 3 meals a day. It's these things. See, if you look at on an individual level, you have a man, he has a wife. Wife is in her 3rd pregnancy, she goes and dies. There are 2 children or 3 children. Who is going to look after them? See, these are human problems that you will never see. In development, you are trying to address these human problems. Or you don't have clean water. You drink some dirty water, child gets diarrhea and dies. See, these are all individual human problems that the government should be addressing. The government doesn't give a damn. They say, chalo, keep producing. They produce children, somehow they are alive. Whatever money is there is being spent on these things. See, they're getting aid and they're developing an arms industry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the money is there for an arms industry, but not for anything else. This is the issue.
So basically, all the money which they get from IMF either goes to the army or to the army officials.
I think what's happening is the money they're getting from the IMF is being used to pay back loans, the interest on loans. The money that is, for instance, how does Lashkar-e-Taiba or Harkat, or who's the other guy? LET and anyway, yeah, JEM, yeah, Jaish-e-Mohammed. How do these people make money? For instance, now you have Eid, and they slaughter a lot of cows. All the cow skins are made into leather, and leather gets made into footballs, and footballs get exported. So there is some sort of economy going. Who is getting the money? Terrorists are getting the money. These people are getting the beef to eat. So this is the sort of thing that goes on in. There are crops. Crops will grow. It is the human condition that is bad. See, even India. If you look now, sorry, I'm myself bringing up India when I should not do that. But you say Indians are starving, Indians are poor, but still our population has gone up from 550 million or maybe 300 million in 1947 to 1.4 billion. Oh, everybody is getting food, we are producing. But slowly we've improved the literacy, improved the death rate, reduced the death rate of, increased the literacy.
Infant
mortality, maternal vaccination. See, we've improved all these things, infrastructure. These things have improved. Okay. Whereas they have tended to go towards stagnation in Pakistan.
Yep. You mentioned about Kafir, Darul Arab, Darul Islam. So what are exactly these terms? And Pakistan and Turkey being the so-called, they portray themselves as the protector of Muslim. Why don't these immigrants, which are causing problem in European nations, go to these countries? Why are they going to European countries and demanding Muslim state?
See, this technically, I will answer the question to the extent of my knowledge. Technically, this is out of syllabus for me. I will quote a person on X who I have spoken about, man called Dan Burmawi, okay, who has explained why the question he asked is, why does a Muslim who goes from a Islamic country to a European country decide to drive a car into a crowd of local people and kill them? So he says the basic indoctrination they have in their country is that, see, however good they are, whether they are scholars, whether they are good, doctors or engineers or whatever it is, Allah is not happy. Allah is happy only when you make sure that you remove opponents, non-Muslims. You have to either convert them or remove them. Now, when they are sitting in their original countries, there is nobody to remove. When they go abroad, then the country is full of people who, when you remove them, when you punish them, when you do either convert them, then you are promised heaven for the most deeply indoctrinated people. You get heaven by killing one of those people. Okay, this is very deeply embedded thing. I had mentioned this earlier. I did a review of an autobiography by a man called Air Commodore Sajad Haider. This one was quite a famous Pakistani pilot. He took part in the 1965, very successful 1965 air raid on Indian air base of Pathankot. They destroyed a lot of Indian planes on the ground. It was a very successful air raid. And he says that before the air raid took place, what he did was, in order to make his pilots, to bring up their morale, he asked for buckets of eau de cologne, scent. And he asked them to dip cloths on that and put eau de cologne on themselves, so that in case they got killed, they would be sweet smelling for the houris in heaven. And this is, This is in 1965. So this is a very deeply embedded thought that when you die killing non-Muslims, you straight go to heaven. Before the first drop of blood falls from your body, you go to heaven. Okay, so this is the thing. Your life is fulfilled only by killing somebody. Okay, so I say this as second-hand information from what I have read. This is not my scholarship as such, but it is there.
Yeah. I don't know any religion in the world where they say to kill other people, and in the name of God, they are killing the people. I can't imagine this word. Uh, you talked about increasing
If I may object to your statement, I think we need to stop saying things like I cannot imagine and things like that. Better we start imagining. It is there. It's very much there. Okay? Huh? I go to a 5-star hotel, I see a cockroach. Okay? I can't say, I can't imagine there are cockroaches in this hotel. There's a cockroach. It's there. There's a problem. Okay? So we need to stop saying this. Face facts. This is the problem. It is there. You can, if you like, go. I have not done it. You can go into the texts, the original text. Nowadays, the internet is full of these texts. You can. There are people like on television, people like Anand Ranganathan, who can just quote these things. Even Sanjay Dikshit is able to just quote, say which part of which text says this.
But there is a problem to it, right? There was a one lady who quoted the exact Sharia. Then we saw the consequence, what it has
Yeah,
happened.
see, how shall I say? This is called, there's a word for it, casualties that are not, that occur by the side. I don't know why. I'm the fellow who talks a lot about military. It's incidental casualties you get on site. You get these casualties. She's a casualty.
Yeah. Like,
See, in India, a lot of people are scared of, we have been made to be afraid of speaking the truth. Okay, speaking the truth is a problem in India. Very often it's a problem. If you sort of beat about the bush and say things that you may or may not escape. And if there are 10 people who do not want to face the truth and one person speaks the truth, that one person is going to receive punishment. Okay, it is entirely possible that even in the judicial system there are people who are perhaps who can be physically threatened unless they take a particular stand. These are the realities that we face every day. Okay, we have to understand this reality. Yes, don't have hate speech, but understand that sometimes when you speak the truth, there are other people who have their problems, and we are hung up on truth. I'm not saying we shouldn't be. The fact is, speaking the truth is sometimes a problem.
yeah, like if quoting a religious text was problem, there was a man who said, like, remove the police for 10 minutes, we'll do XYZ thing. So these things happen in everyday life. Yeah, now let's come to increase in population, like Muslim population. They are all around the world. There are leader like Siddiq Khan in UK or Mamdani in USA. So they are in an influential position. So aren't they influenced by Sharia, and in the decision making, don't they support those countries which follow these things like Pakistan?
Pakistan has a lot of support from a lot of these people. Um,
We have
this-
seen Mamdani quoting about Gujarat rights, but whereas he keeps silent about the Bangladeshi Hindus.
See, this is a question that's very, how do I answer this? See, you have to look at the structure of Islamic society. You may have a Muslim who is dressed in a suit and who is following the laws of some other country, but at his core, he is expected to show loyalty only to other Muslims. Okay? You need to understand that. So that's the only way I can expect. Mamdani, of course, has some Indian connection. Okay, so that is probably the reason why he talks like that. See, I also think we need to stop complaining. We need to stop talking. This is absolute rubbish. He said that. He is saying this is obvious. Their education is like the education is there to hate you. Why are you expecting them to love you? Why are you expecting these people to come and say, oh, Hindus are so good, look at their lovely architecture, look at their lovely music and all that? Nobody's going to say that. How long are we going to keep complaining? Oh, this fellow said that fellow said this. Look, he's saying that. He's not. I mean, we need to look at ourselves. What are we doing? This is, I mean, it is there. These people, the, like I mentioned right at the beginning, I'm not sure if we're going to come in the same podcast, that Kashmiri woman who said that Iran is our mulk. Iran is our, she is an Indian citizen. She's saying Iran is our mulk. She's showing loyalty only to that. This is happening across the world. It's happening across the world.
They even raised
Yeah.
they even did fundraising.
See, now what we are doing here in this podcast is exactly what we should not do. We are talking about Pakistan, and now we are slowly spreading it out to Muslims everywhere. Muslims in India, Muslims in America. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So what is happening is now we are shifting the topic from Pakistan to Islam. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. But if we're going to talk about Islam and Pakistan, let's talk about Islam in Pakistan and not spread the word to what is Islam doing, by what is Mamdani doing, what are the Palestinians doing. See, this is where we fall out of line because, we don't know, we can't stick to topic. What are we talking about? Are we talking about Pakistan? Are we talking about Islam? Where does Mamdani come in? So I think it's necessary to know what we are talking about. If we are talking about how Islamic, deeply indoctrinated Muslims behave, if you're going to talk to secular people, they're going to ask you, what about the other people who don't behave? It's true. There are a lot of other people who don't behave. We have to start talking about them as well. But we don't do that. We are only bothered about the guys who go against us. So we're saying, Mamdani said this fellow said that, this woman said Palestinian. We need to stop ranting and understand where we are going. There is a problem that in Islamic education where while we have very good people, we have some very nice people, they are there. It's very difficult to talk like this in front of one section of Indians. There is a section of Indians where if you say there is a good Muslim, you say you're an idiot, you're a fool, you're secular. Okay, but it's true. There are good people, there are perfectly, I know some very good people, patriotic people. But Islamic society does have a problem. We need to get a change in behavior. And then Hindus will, after saying all this, Hindus will say, oh, you can't change it. Nothing can be changed. So what are we talking about? If nothing can be changed, why are you talking about it? Are you crazy? Sun rises in the east. Oh, it rises in the east. My house gets heated up in the morning. What are you going to do about it? Get a new house? The thing is, we expect a change of behavior. We expect a change in India. We expect a change of behavior that follows our constitution. Okay? Pakistan, we expect stopping of terrorism and stopping of killing of minorities, although it is an internal problem. Okay, it is an internal problem. They cannot blame India to kill their minorities. Okay, so let us stick to this. And see, Islamic society does have a problem. We do have, we have core, say, mullahs and some core Muslims who believe only in Sharia. They don't want anything else. Around then, there's a group of people who appear secular on the outside, but will always support the Muslim when it comes to terrorism. There is a third group who appear secular and are really secular, and as far as possible do not fall into this group. Those people are under threat from Muslims. Because if they have to live in Muslim society, they will be threatened, even though they are Muslims. Okay, but because they don't behave like that, they get threatened. We are criticizing everyone. What space do you have to not criticize this group, but figure out? So we need to understand the nuances of society. This is, it's difficult. I've written and some things about this, not in this book, but
Yeah. Now let's get back to the Pakistan as a state. There is a one statement which is running around the internet where it says every country has an army, but in Pakistan, army has a country.
correct.
So how true is it?
It is true. That is what it is. Army runs the country. You can see it. You have yourself said how the so-called democratic government gets changed over to every time. You have all these dictators. You've had Ayub Khan, you've had Ziaul Haq, the General Ziaul Haq, General Ayub Khan, then Ziaul Haq, then Musharraf, and now this Field Marshal Asim Munir. You had General Bajwa before. The army calls the shots. And this here, let me go back to something that I said. After the Prophet Muhammad died, it was expected that the next ruler would be as balanced as within the norms of Islam to control Islamic society. But it never happened that way. The person with the sword became the controller. So all across Islamic societies, it is the person with the gun or the sword who controls everybody else. And from there, people can do anything. They can drink. Uh, uh, they can have women. They keep everybody else under control. That is how these societies are working. That is agreed. Saudi Arabia is opening up a little bit. Pakistan has not opened up. Pakistan not opened up.
Yeah. You mentioned about Pakistan being radicalized after 1970. So, what exactly happened in Bangladesh or creation of Bangladesh, and what happened to Pakistan after East Pakistan or Bangladesh got separated?
Yeah, I didn't use the word radicalized. I said Islamized.
Islamized. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So because the problem is, who is a good Muslim, who is a bad Muslim. For us, when we find a Muslim who behaves like us, we say good Muslim. And if you say a fellow, the thing is, a lot of these so-called bad Muslims, like the Taliban, are actually following Islam. So what happened in Bangladesh? Basically, the Bangladesh party won the election. They should have formed the government. The Punjabis said, we are fair-skinned, we are tall, we eat wheat. Those fellows are black-skinned rice eaters. They are inferior to us. They cannot form the government. So they did not want the Bangladesh party to form the government. They sent their soldiers and started killing Bangladeshis. That is how the Bangladesh crisis started. Then this March 25th it started. They went to Dhaka University, started killing people. And then slowly we started getting refugees. And over the span from March to, we knew that there was going to be a war. We had a war in December. So when Pakistan lost the war, they were in denial till the last day. General Yahya Khan was the ruling at that time. Until the last day, they denied that there was a problem. Finally, they had lost. The whole of Bangladesh had gone. So there had to be more hate against India. And the way it was translated was, we survived. Indian army did nothing in Bangladesh. They were rebellion, so we didn't lose that. But West Pakistan survived because of our army. Okay, so we're the great people. So we had to hate India more. You have to hate India more for the survival. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is how the hate India thing started. And once General Ziaul Haq came, he started fully. See, in order to hate India, you can't just hate India. He had to introduce Islamization and give an Islamic excuse to hate Indians. And how it came was, say they are kafirs. So that is how Islamization started after the 1971 war. And that Islamization led to this several generations of India haters.
Yeah. In 1971, Bangladesh got separated. They have fought three wars against India, like excluding the 47 one, Kashmir one, 65, 71, and 99. So in all the 3 or 4 wars, they have lost badly. Still, they have included all these wars in their educational textbooks. How do they show that Pakistan has won?
If I survive, I win. See, my imagine I am Pakistan and imagine that you are India. Okay, huh? Now the line I take is, you hate me. You hate me, you want to kill me. Anytime there is a war, it is your fault. You have started the war. I didn't start the war. But at the end of the war, I have survived. Everything is intact. Therefore, I won. This is exactly what they have done every time. It's there. My survival is victory. And this is something that, again, I mentioned the lady Christine Fair, who wrote a book. She's mentioned that in her book also. Their survival is victory. If so they say that, when India starts a war, we're going to get crushed, we're going to get destroyed. We survived.
Yeah. Now let's see Indians from Pakistani general citizens' view. How does normal Pakistani looks up to India or Indians?
In general, Indians who go to Pakistan find Pakistanis very friendly. But the fact is, time and time again, when you see them on TV, when there is a war, they are all cursing India. They are saying kafirs and India should be destroyed. That is part of the education. They are educated to hate India. They are educated to feel that Indians are, see, they are welcome to hate India. It's okay. They can think anything they like. It's not a problem. We need not bother about it. We are bothered only because we keep having terrorism and our people keep our drugs come in or there's terrorism and they're always, cursing, they're always saying that we are responsible for their problem. That is if they stop doing that, we'll be fine. They can think anything they like. It doesn't matter. See, it's not that everybody loves, we Indians have gone and so many of my own relatives and friends have gone to America saying, "Oh, this land, the melting pot, yeah, is everything." See what's going on. There's so much hatred towards India. See, people don't have to love us, but don't harm us. Have friendly relations with us. That's all we ask for.
Yeah, having a one friendly nation is far more better than having like few more countries like
Yeah,
Pakistan.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing is many Pakistan believe that they are poor because of India. How true is that statement?
You tell me how true is it?
Because,
How has India made them poor?
because there were many claims in the recent when the Pahalgam incident happened, when India said they'll stop the waters. So this statement was so popularized in Pakistan, stating that because of these incident which India is taking or these steps which India is taking, because of this we are poor.
Okay, see, the thing is, again, I think, what you're doing is you're taking a narrative that is just 1 year old.
No, this was example.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, yes. The thing is, Pakistan is always, India is responsible for anything bad that happens in Pakistan. See, in Pakistan, if anything good happens, okay, no, if anything good is there, they'll say it's South Asia.
South Asia.
No, sorry. If anything bad happens, they'll say it's a South Asian problem. That means India and Pakistan. When something good happens, it's Pakistani. This is what they do. So the word South Asian is a Pakistani expression. So anything bad has to be blamed on India. It cannot be blamed on Pakistan. Nothing bad can be blamed on Pakistan. I've mentioned this in my book also. V.S. Naipaul has written this very well. He has said that Pakistan has been formed in the name of Islam. Islam cannot fail. Okay, Islam can never fail. Because Islam cannot fail, the people have failed. Why have the people failed? Is it because they are not pious enough? Now, you are not becoming very pious and Islamic. If things are a problem, where is the problem? Problem is in India. So logic is very simple. Most people it's very nice to keep people illiterate. It's very nice to tell people lies. Okay. Unfortunately, in India, 1.4 billion people, we are always in the search for truth. We want truth. And if somebody says something, we may not believe it. Is the truth there or is the truth here? We are looking for. Pakistan has no such problem. We are taught that, we are good Muslims. We are fully Islamic. We are the best Muslims. We follow everything in Islam. Still, why are we poor? Why is there a problem? How did is Allah, why is Allah will never punish good Muslims? So why are they having a problem? You tell me. India. India is the problem. See, you have to understand that an entire country can be like this. You cannot be in denial. You have to understand this. There is a problem. I'm not just an old boomer who's ranting. This is 70 years of literature, including a person who is now accused of being very pro-Pakistan, Mani Shankar Iyer. Even he has written, I've got one of his books as a Hindu Kutta, Hindu Kutta.
When the people are illiterate, it's easy to convince anything. That's common in India as well. There are like many YouTubers who put good graphics and convince millions of people. That's not so uncommon or unheard thing. It's common to every country as we see. Let's talk more about Pakistani army or in general Pakistan defense system. Pakistan spends around 4% of its GDP on defense.
Lies. 40%.
No, 4%.
Oh, GDP. 40% of their funds is what they spend. Actually.
Okay.
Literally. Those are the figures. 4% of their GDP is all a lie. Their GDP is nothing. They spend much more. I have read figures as high as 40%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even after spending that much amount of resource, they haven't produced any good missiles. They always import. Where are they spending these missiles?
No. See, they are a very powerful country. Okay, they're a very powerful country. They have a very good small arms industry. Okay, and they have collaborated with China, and they have some sort of aeronautical industry. They used to have very disciplined army. So the thing is, they're not a weak country. Forget missiles. See, we really should know. We should stop comparing India with Pakistan. You really should stop comparing. See, even this morning, I objected to an OSINT handle on Twitter. We said, "Haha, look at this ICBM that we have tested, Agni. Is it in response to the Fatah missile of Pakistan?" We need to stop comparing. No, we are on a different trajectory. We have a uh, we have a space research and missile program which is far ahead of them. They have spent a lot on arms. They manufacture a lot of arms. They have been export even today. I mean, I don't know about 20, 25, 26 figures, but they were earning more from arms exports than India. India was not exporting. We were not exporting. So they have a good arms industry. They may not be very sophisticated. They may not be as sophisticated as we are. But you can let me ask a rhetorical question: who has more sophisticated arms, America or Afghanistan? Who had more sophisticated arms, Vietnam or America? So sophistication in arms is not does not translate to victory. The fact that their missiles may not be as sophisticated than ours means nothing. We need to stop comparing. Indians, we are obsessed with comparing with Pakistan. Take it as a whole. Their missiles are not going to fight our missiles. As a nation, they will fight us. Okay? And they have been fighting us continuously with some way or the other. We need to look at it that way. Stop comparing individual things. They say that you can, okay, I'll cook up some fake figures. Let us say that the incidence of cholera in India is 1%. Okay, and the incidence of cholera in Pakistan is 2. This is wrong. This is bull figures, bull dash 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 figures. 2% of India would be, say, 100 million. 1% of India would be 100 million. I'm just 2% of Pakistan will be only 20 million. Therefore, you can say that India has more load of this disease than Pakistan. So these lies can always be cooked up. They are fighting us. Whether if they don't have missiles, they'll fight us with something else. So we need to completely the minute we compare, we get into this problem of saying India is more bad than Pakistan.
So let's compare as a state. India is around 5 to 6 times as big as
Yeah.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
Whereas in terms of army, it's just 1.5 to 2 times. What is the need for Pakistan to have that big army?
Because it is under threat from India, Kafir India. You see, we are the threat. We look at ourselves as bunnies. Oh, we are so good. We spend only 2%. This is how we see ourselves. We are good people. We want to be friends. That is not how they see us. They see us as an enemy. And earlier on, I referred to this game, tit for tat. I slap you, you slap me. We thought by not slapping them, by not hitting back at them, like we didn't hit back after the parliament attack, we didn't hit back. We thought that by not hitting them, they'll become like us and stop hitting us. No, that is not how it works. We need to understand this. See, there's a thing called game theory where these interesting games are developed. This tit for tat game is a great example of what happens between India and Pakistan.
Yeah, like they see India as their enemy.
As a threat.
Yeah, India as a threat.
As an existential threat, that not only will they get wiped out, Islam is in danger. Islam by India, Kafir India, attacking Pakistan is putting Islam in danger. We are the protectors of Islam. Pakistan ka matlab kya? La ilaha illallah. Pakistan se rishta kya? La ilaha illallah. We are Islam. Pakistan is Islam. This has come from 1947 onwards. And okay, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
But they are facing more attacks from Afghanistan, their own like siblings, and they are attacking their own citizens, or Baluch Liberation Army is fighting against its own army. So aren't they have to resolve these conflicts than fighting against India?
For you, logic matters to you. For the Pakistan army, logic does not matter. Survival and wealth matter. Okay, now. Sorry, I have to go back on my own words. To compare. Say you look at Mamta Banerjee. Okay, you look at the way Mamta Banerjee handled the state. Her own survival was more important than actual democracy. The survival of the Pakistani army and their wealth is more important than anything else. They'll keep on fighting those fellows, but they have to keep their people afraid of Pakistan, afraid of India. The minute their people stop thinking India is an enemy, the Pakistan army is finished. Already you are having voices in Pakistan saying, knowing that the Pakistan army is bad. Maybe a time will come when the army will be defeated internally. But until the Pakistan army is in power, they will keep telling their people that India is the threat. They are not bothered about other threats. And fortunately for them, Baluchistan has no air force, it has no navy. But yes, this side, Afghanistan is a bit of a problem because the Americans have left them with a lot of arms. But still, Afghanistan doesn't have an air force. But the primary, they are saying that India is supporting Afghanistan, India is supporting the Taliban. Therefore, the fight with the Taliban, with Afghanistan is because of India. You see, you can carry lies anywhere. This is how it is.
Yeah, that's true. Why does Pakistani citizens believe in Pakistani army? Is it because they are feared by the army, or they have been told lies by the army?
Both.
Both.
The Pakistani army presents itself as the protector of Pakistan, which is Islam. Islam is Pakistan, Pakistan is Islam. The protector of Islam and Pakistan is the Pakistani army. So that is, yeah. So what happens is, now when the Pakistani army itself was not able to face India, they allowed the development of terrorist groups, okay, like Lashkar-e-Taiba, and I keep forgetting that fellow's name, Jaish-e-Mohammed, okay. They support these terrorist groups to do the fighting for them. Cheap. That is how it is.
Yeah. Before 1990s, Pakistani army used to fight against India with their army. After 1990s, things have changed a bit. They try to attack India with the help of terrorists. There are series of attacks like 93 Mumbai blast, 2001 parliament attack, 2006 Mumbai train blast, 2008 terror attack popularly called 26/11, 16 Pathankot attack, 16 Uri attack, 19 Pulwama attack, and the recent 23 Rajouri attack, 24 Risai attack, and 25 Pelgam attack. So, is it the easiest way for Pakistan to train terrorists and motivate them to kill the Hindus or kill India in the name of religion?
Yeah. This is classic sub-conventional warfare. So what happened? It started in 1999 when they tested a nuclear weapon. After that, they have said, under the nuclear umbrella, if we will send as many terrorists as we like, we are not going to waste our soldiers. Okay, we will send terrorists. You can't do anything because we'll nuke you if you react. So this is how it went on. This is exactly the thing that prevented India from reacting in 2001 Parliament attack. Then again 2008 Mumbai, the 26/11, India did not react. What did it require? It required guts. See, unfortunately, in the international relations, you have a thing called, you have to, see, there are people who hate this current government, they hate Modi. And people who listen to what I say may not like it. Ultimately, you need guts. You need to have, the other word for it is cojones, which is not such a polite word. First to do demonetization, and then, actually hit out after the Uri attack. We hit out and had this thing. So we went into Pakistan and did something. Finally, Balakot 2019, we showed that we could even attack by air. Now, India has been very reluctant to use air power. Always they have said, "Oh, air power, it is things can escalate. It's escalatory. Even in 1965, we didn't use it when we should have used it. 62, we didn't use it. Even in 1999, Kargil war, we didn't allow our aircraft to. It was very difficult. Our aircraft couldn't cross the border. These fellows are sitting in the border. Aircraft can't turn right like auto rickshaw. They have to go this way. So their mode of attack had to be changed to stay inside India. But that went in 2019 and then again in 2020. So the thing is, and this, I come right back to my slapping game. You slap, I slap, you slap, I slap. I stop slapping, you keep slapping me. I start slapping you back. Is it going to solve the problem if I start slapping you back? It may not solve the problem, but it's going to put the fear of slap into you. We have been slapped long enough. Get a few slaps and we'll move from there. And while slapping you, we will also develop and become much stronger than you. These are realities. But there are people who may think that, oh, war, slap, why can't you be peaceful? Things don't work that way. Unfortunately, things don't work that way. Why do you want police? Why do somebody comes and throws a stone at your house, breaks in? Are you going to fight him or get the police? Normally you would want the police, but if you can't have the police, you're going to have to fight this fellow yourself. So now we depend on the police, we depend on our forces. It's a necessity. There's nothing you can do. You have to fight back. You can't just sit back and take it. You've taken enough.
Now, terrorism is being a big threat to the whole world. We have always been taught that terrorism has no religion. But we have seen that in recent Pahalgam attack, where the terrorist asking the tourists to read Kalma. To which religion does Kalma belong to? Or people or terrorists shouting Allahu Akbar. I don't know to which religion those statement belongs to. Does terrorism has any religion or all terrorist atheist? Like as the most people, so-called liberal people say on
First of all, see, you use the word terrorism affects the whole world. We don't care. Can affect anybody else. It affects us. Now, the terrorists who attack us are quoting from the Quran. It so happens that the terrorists who've attacked us are Muslims. Now, we can also start counting the number of Hindu terrorists who have attacked Pakistan. I am unaware of any Hindu terrorist who has attacked. I am not bothered about anywhere else, whether it's Colombia, USA, Botswana, whether they have terrorism or not is not my problem. My problem is who is attacking India. If the fellow who is attacking India is 100% of the time a Muslim, then there is a connection between that Muslim and Islam and the terrorism. Now, does a religion promote terrorism? You can argue in different ways. See, I am not supposed to say that a religion, I cannot say in public, I cannot say on a podcast that this religion supports terrorism. Can I say that?
No.
Yeah. Why can't I say that? Are you able to tell me? I'm not supposed to say that. But the fact is, there is a certain degree of indoctrination that can occur to people that makes them terrorists. It so happens that for our bad luck, the people who have been indoctrinated to conduct terrorist acts upon India have been Muslims. Does that mean there is a connection between Islam and terrorism? You have to decide and tell me.
Aren't this a problem for Muslims? Because most of these terrorists have been taught or funded by the madrasas. Madrasas are the places where holy religion or holy text has been taught. So don't be the Muslims should change the way they think.
Madrasas are the place where holy texts are taught.
Maybe I have been.
Have you read those holy texts?
No, I have been just.
It's a good idea to read the holy texts and see what is taught. Okay, see what is the need to be a good and religious person, and how much of it can be followed in practice. Okay, it may be a good idea to read that and then get back to the question about holy texts or not. One. Second thing is, you need not be madrasa educated to be like that. You see these doctors and things like that. The doctors who are promoting terrorism, in Kashmir, and other people recently, I think TCS. None of these are madrasa trained. So you cannot blame madrasas all the time. There is some aspect in the education. Okay. What aspect of the education does that? We have to see what is the sort of education. Did medical education give them that? That sort of thing? We don't know. So what was that in their education? We are assuming that it was something in their Islamic education, that it is an assumption. If you can prove it, fine. I can't prove it. I have no evidence. I just know that these people happen to be of one religion. You are promoting terrorism. How can I openly accuse them of anything like that? There is a correlation. Correlation is not causation. Okay, I think one needs to be very careful about some of these things. See, because we have a lot of good Muslims, and we have a lot of Muslims who object and say, "Why are you blaming all Muslims?" This is a very definite problem. So this is what creates a big divide between those who want some solution and where the solution does not come. So these are very, what shall I say, difficult topics to discuss. So I have to, especially I have to be very circumspect in the way I address this sort of question. Yeah.
Whenever there is a war between India or Pakistan or any escalation, whenever India attacks Pakistan, when India is in upper position compared to Pakistan, there is some or the other third country comes and stops the war. What exactly those third countries getting benefits?
Those countries don't come. Pakistan is always invited those countries to come. So, I've dealt with this in my book, and it goes right back to the Arab mind which came into Islam. The concept of having an intermediary. You are fighting me, I am fighting you, I am beating you up. Okay, either you get beaten up or you call for a truce. The way to call for a truce without losing face and without losing your honor is to call for an intermediary. You call an intermediary and say, please help me out. That is what they've done. It so happens that the US has always been a useful intermediary for Pakistan and has actually helped Pakistan. So that is why it's not that those people come. Of course, previously UN used to intervene, but calling for an funny thing is Trump did it. This time Trump has done America. They have asked Pakistan to be a mediator to save face. It's amazing.
Yeah, we have seen that tweet where the Pakistani Prime Minister has posted exact text, including not removing those introductory
Yeah, correct. So the thing is, the mediator is always useful in not admitting defeat or not being defeated. You're stopping the war, and if you say it's because of the mediator, because of this mediator, otherwise I would have won. You may be losing, but you can always say, I stopped because I respect the mediator. Otherwise, I would have won. I was beating them. They were finished. They lost 7 aircraft. They were crying. This is how it is.
India Pakistan have seen so many wars. What exactly stopping India from getting Pakistan occupied Kashmir?
What are we going to do with those people? What do we do with all those people? And okay, see, it's a war. We have a voluntary armed forces. Why are we going to have our soldiers killed in war? What is the exact reason? But here's the contradiction. We say that is part of our country, but we are not taking it over. We are saying Aksai is also part of our country. We are not talking much about taking it over. These are intractable problems. Gilgit Baltistan is part of our country, but I don't think we are ever going to get into a war to take it over. Countries who have got into wars recently, if you see, one of the important things in war is knowing when to stop. India has done very well with it that way. Look what US has done in Iran. Look what Russia has done. These people don't know when to stop. They start wars. They don't know when to stop. We can't do that. We have to, if we get into a war, we have to have an endpoint. If you don't have an endpoint, you're going to be in trouble.
Should India support Baluchistan Liberation Army?
Yes, absolutely. You should. See, Pakistan, according to me, Pakistan should be broken up into 4 pieces. Baluchistan, One part goes off to Afghanistan, and Sindhu Desh should be one, and Rump, Punjab should be left. I say that in no uncertain term, Pakistan should be broken. Are we going to break it up by armed action? Probably not. So it's sort of wishful thinking.
Why India always wants to become that Vishwaguru status, even though Israel supports us openly, or for that matter, when any other country supports India, if that country is in war, India doesn't take stance. Why we want to be in that Vishwaguru status?
Vishwaguru is a word that has come into use recently with a specific connotation referring to Narendra Modi. So let us remove that word, Vishwaguru. So then it becomes political, because it is used only by Narendra Modi's opponents or people who are being sarcastic about. India has always tried to take neutral action. Now, when Organization of Islamic Countries were supporting Pakistan and attacking us, we developed ties with Israel. But we have ties with every country. We have ties with Saudi Arabia. We have ties with UAE. We have supported Palestine, the so-called Palestine. Sometimes we have ties with Israel. So, and if you go back even to the days of Nehru, you know what non-alignment was? Non-alignment was because the whole world was divided up. It was aligned either for USA or for USSR. So there were a few small, big countries with no influence: India, Egypt, Cuba, Yugoslavia, who became non-aligned. We said we are not going to align with everybody. So we were neutral. So the thing is, this application of Vishwaguru and all that is just pointless rhetoric. The thing is, sometimes we act like, as a nation, we act like babies. We don't know our own strength, and we don't realize our own importance in the world. We say that US acts in its own interest. We are also acting in our interest. What is in our interest? Whatever is in our interest, we'll do. If we want to be friendly with Saudi, we will be friendly with Saudi. If we want to be friendly with Israel, we'll be friendly with Israel.
Yeah, in politics, there is a popular statement, right? No one is friend, no one is a.
Yeah, there's no permanent friend or enemy. Yeah.
Let's talk more about the terrorism in Pakistan. Pakistan being a biggest exporter of terrorism, there has been a significant terrorist groups which has been created in Pakistan, like TTP, Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. How are these organizations being openly created or supported?
They are being openly created. How are they being openly created? They are being created. What are you going to do about it? However they are created, they are supported. They are Islamic organizations. The government allows them to survive. They serve a useful role for the government because they combine religion with enmity. That is, the Pakistani army is the ultimate protector of Islam in Pakistan, and these groups are called religious groups. Now, how can you stop a religious group in Pakistan? How can you stop a religious Islamic group? So, if Jaish-e-Mohammed says that we are a religious Islamic group, Pakistan is not going to stop it. If Jaish-e-Mohammed arms itself, gets its own funds from whatever donations, Pakistan has got a very good private arms industry. They get arms. The Pakistan army also, ISI help them. Why should they stop them? They're doing everything that Pakistan wants. They are conducting Pakistan's foreign policy. Pakistan's foreign policy is to oppose India and hurt India. Why should they stop them? It's very convenient for them. I mean, does that answer your question? Is that part of your question? Yeah.
Whenever soldiers die for a country, he has been given enough respect. But whereas when people join these terrorist groups, right, they are known that they'll die soon. So still, what motivates those people to join this terrorist organization?
I can only answer with what I have heard about the suicide bombers that are trained in Pakistan specifically, other places also. And it goes back to that incident I spoke about, how they are basically told that you will get heaven straight away. You will get 72 huris. You will have women who don't menstruate, 72 of them. They'll be yours forever. You have to die killing a non-Muslim. So you get a fellow like Kasab, 16-year-old, 17-year-old guy, who has nothing. He has nothing. He's been a criminal. He has no food, nothing. You take him, you train him, you give him food, you give him arms, and say, this is your job. So, in fact, after 26/11, I collected all the audios and I collected some videos and I made a video which is there on YouTube. It's been there for a very long time. And it so happened, as you probably know, that Indian intelligence agencies recorded the conversations of the terrorist handlers in Pakistan. Okay. So one of the statements, one of the encouraging statements that the terrorist handler is giving to the terrorist in a hotel in India is, uh, Islam or kufr da mahal hai. That is, this is a war between Islam and kafirs. And if you kill him, you will go to heaven. So these are the statements that are being made by the Islamic handlers. So this is, they're indoctrinated. See, you can indoctrinate people. Why is education important? How is education important? If you are taught right from the beginning that as you grow older, raping is good, stealing is good, you're going to do that. You can take young people and train them to do anything. See, why do you think generals are old men and that fighters are young men? You can take young people and train them to do anything. Pakistan is doing that training. They have to go against India and kill non-Muslims. They're quite happy doing that. It's our problem. If they didn't do that, we would be happy. But they're doing it. And the important thing, as far as I'm concerned, is to stop denying that this is happening. Is stop pretending that if we are good to Pakistan, they will be good to us. They will not. They'll not. I think the lesson that should go out is, these things that we've discussed have gone on for the last 40, 50 years. It's nothing new. I've not done anything new. The only thing new that I would expect for Indians to realize that we have a problem. If they didn't do this, we would be fine with them. We could even be friendly with them and have trade. They don't want trade, but they're doing this, and it's a reality. There's nothing we can, and it's not that we've not tried. You can't say that, oh, we didn't try, we are not talking to them, we are not giving them water. All these things have happened. We've been giving them more water than we are supposed to give them. We've been giving them help. They were a most favored nation in trade for many, many decades. Being good to them has not helped. This is a really serious problem. So we cannot say be good to them. So can you, the younger generation, think of what to do about this? Because there is no solution. Being good to them is not, being nice to them has not been a solution. They're still hating us. What are we going to do? We can protect ourselves, but can we expect something good from them that they will stop? We have to see. This is what needs to go forward. Not solutions like let's be good to them, let's talk to them, let's give them water, let's give them aid. These things have all been done for 70 years. It does not work. You can also argue you're not good to your Muslims. Therefore, if you are not good to your Muslims, how should it affect Pakistan? Why is it? Supposing we say, okay, we don't like Indian Muslims. Supposing we decide we hate Indian Muslims. Why should it affect Pakistan? Is there any reason that it affects Pakistan? No. The only reason could be Islam. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, that is the only reason it could be. We are trying not to be bad to the extent we can. Okay, we may make mistakes and things like that. But Pakistan should not also equally be killing its own minorities. Anyway, we can say killing minorities is their problem, but stop attacking us. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now let's get back to Kashmir. Kashmir is a special state in India. Why does usually the Kashmiri people, or to what I know about the Kashmir, they always hate Indian armed forces, or there were many incidents before 2016 where stone pelting used to happen. Where does this mentality come from?
Pakistan. Comes from Pakistan. Pakistan has had a free run. See, 1989 there was an election under the Congress central government, which some golmaal was done. I've forgotten the details. And after that, they started killing Hindus in Kashmir and driving them out. And who benefited most from this? Pakistan. We were a free, porous border. Pakistan benefited most from this. And after that, they've been infiltrated. Even Pahalgam, Three of the guys came from Pakistan. So, see, there are a lot of Indian Muslims, and there are Indian Muslims who even inside India who will say Pakistan Zindabad and things like that. But ultimately, they have to follow Indian laws. They have to be Indian. Okay. But if you give these guys weapons and you give them a safe haven across the border, then they can create a lot of trouble. Now, Kashmir is geographically situated in a place where they can go across to Pakistan or Pakistan occupied Kashmir. They can get training, get arms, get support, and conduct Pakistan's foreign policy in India. This is what has happened. Pakistan's foreign policy is decidedly against India. What is happening in Kashmir is Pakistan's foreign policy being conducted there.
I still don't understand what exactly, because Pakistan being a failed state, how does it promote these radicalization? For a people or a child who is growing in Kashmir, for him for him or her, the education is important. The person who is going for like or opting for terrorism, right? He has to think about his family and next generation, right? Why aren't they thinking about these things?
You said Pakistan is a failed state. Who says that? Pakistan doesn't think it's a failed state. Pakistanis don't think they failed. They are happy. They are at war. They're at war. Whatever money they can have, see, it's very easy to, if when counterfeit rupees were there, it was very easy to send money across. More difficult now. So you say that a Pakistani child, a child in Kashmir, should think about his education. I am told, I have no personal experience, that the number of Kashmiri children who are doing that has increased after Article 370 was removed. But Pakistan still has an effect. They still have Pakistani supporters who will take money. Stone throwing stopped after Article 370 because they were getting money. They were getting money to throw stones.
So now US has left Afghanistan. Afghanistan is constantly being attacked by Pakistan, and even Afghanistan is retaliating. Should India take these opportunities to attack Pakistan, so that we can teach them lesson? Because in history, India has never attacked any country at the first place. It always took a defensive stance.
So, we have to correct this view to some extent. India has taken actions in its own interest. Right, we have not attacked other countries as such, but has taken actions in its own interest where other countries have sometimes been involved. Okay, you start with, of course, two post-independence actions were taking over the this guy. Who was the guy in Andhra Pradesh? That how I
Some
yeah, Nizam of Hyderabad, getting Goa back was one thing. Then we put our troops in Bangladesh. Then we had the Maldives action. We put troops in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka, the biggest problem was we had no endpoint. It was a badly botched thing. It was like our Vietnam, our Afghanistan. We had no decided endpoint. Luckily, we pulled out at some stage. So we have taken actions in other places. But on the whole, Pakistan has taken more action against us, and we have taken almost no action against them directly until after 1971 until 2019. That was, yeah, 2019. Uri, that was the first time we took something against them. So saying that we never, we like to say this. I'm India. I'm a very good person. I don't covet your territory. I don't want anything. Everybody should be. See, we talk like this, but we fool ourselves with our own talk. We convince our own people that we're BS. We are not like that. We have to act in our interest. And very often the government acts in our interest, but it's this nonsense that goes around that we are like this, we are like that. We need to get out of this mode. We will attack if necessary. We need to stop thinking that we won't attack. We have attacked also in the past. We have done what is there in our interest.
Pakistan is not just creator of this terrorist organization. It is also a safe home for many terrorists, whether it's Dawood Ibrahim, Chota Shakil, or for that matter, Osama bin Laden. Pakistan being heavily funded by USA, still how can Pakistan keep Osama bin Laden, who attacked 9/11?
Yeah, they're very good. This you got to actually admire the way this Punjabi rump state, the core state, the army takes all these fellows for a ride. They've taken the Americans for a ride. Americans, when they get taken for the gringo, when he gets taken for a ride, he doesn't want to admit it. They just want to throw. The fact is, American army, also armies, were also very corrupt. You know how this was going on. Uh, for instance, say 500 trucks or 500 Humvees go to Afghanistan. Okay. Then what these American agents in Afghanistan would do is they would ask for, say, 200 engine replacements, saying that the engines have gone bad. And they would sell 200 Humvee engines through Pakistan to somebody else, and they would get these. So basically, American arms organizations were making money. So a lot of these wars are very convenient for America because the whole financial system has been around the dollar. It's been very convenient for America to print dollars and recycle it through arms. So this is what has been going on even in Afghanistan. Pakistan has been making money from it. Americans have been making money from it. Taliban has been fighting because they are not bothered. See, you can't, when a country is already in Stone Age, you cannot bomb it into Stone Age. Americans say, we'll bomb it to Stone Age. Afghanistan is already in Stone Age. What are you going to bomb and make it Stone Age? You know,
That's true. In most of the wars, USA is the one which is getting more beneficial. And
starting the war also, USA. Yeah.
to add to that point, half of the dollar which is circulating in the market has been printed after COVID or 2019.
Yeah, I believe I'm not familiar with the statistics.
Let's talk about the CPEC and the relation of Pakistan with China. How CPEC has impacted Pakistan? Did we see any actual development?
Yeah, they did build some roads and they built some power stations and things like that. But none of these projects is really going forward. See, for instance, they were supposed to get Gwadar and they were supposed to develop a road to Gwadar, and nothing has happened. Basically, Pakistan has taken Chinese also for a ride. Yeah.
China being a new ally of Pakistan, did whenever China produces new weapon, did China using Pakistan as a testing ground?
No, China is not a new ally of Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah. See, in 1965, Pakistan had Chinese arms and American arms. In 1965, China created a border incident next to India to support Pakistan. And the Chinese have always supplied weapons to Pakistan. There is nothing new about it. Of late, they are testing new, because Pakistan also is not very happy with Chinese weapons. That junk fighter is not doing well. Okay, but they have no option because they are not getting the sophisticated Western weapons. So they have no option. They have to take. And the other thing is, see, Pakistanis will talk big and Indians will believe them because Pakistanis don't believe in telling the truth, and Indians think that we are liars. We will believe Pakistan. So I remember they said that Pakistan would have the highest skyscraper 20 years ago, Karachi. They said Karachi would get mag rail again 20 years ago. September 2025, they would have got Chinese J-35 stealth fighters. Now they're saying September 2026. So all this news comes out. And the other thing is, this is a YouTube generation. We all look at YouTube. We believe YouTube. YouTube is among the worst sources for information. Because there are good sources, there are bad sources also. And there is no, the bad sources are the easiest ones to follow.
To go to little out of context, how was China able to stand against US, giant US?
Do you know what happened why did US support Pakistan in 1971? Do you know why?
No.
Yeah, it's because the US was having a problem opposing Soviet Union. They wanted to woo China. They wanted to become friendly with China. So they went to Pakistan, already had good relations with China. So American diplomats came to Pakistan, and from Pakistan they made good relations with China. So the Chinese were very clever. They had a long-term view. So US and China became close in 1971, after the 1971 war. That is why the US was so much for Pakistan in 1971. The Chinese, of course, were very clever. They said, we'll do your low-end jobs, we'll manufacture low-end things, and gradually they started taking over manufacturing everything, and of course they copy everything also. Copies may not be as good, but they've done a good job. They have their problem. We talking about China is a different thing. I am in no way an expert on China. I don't know. They have their problems and they have their strengths also. India versus China, there are a few things I can talk about, but this is how it is. So China and US were very close. It's only now see, China was always against America. China always wanted Taiwan. America was against it. But as long as America was much stronger than China, they were not bothered. Now, what's happened, maybe in the last 10 years, they suddenly find that the Chinese are so strong, they're producing so many weapons, that America now suddenly has to say we have to go against China. Suddenly, they've turned around.
But ideologically, both China and Russia were close ally, right? So why did USA wanted China's close relationship?
I think the relationship had broken up by then. The main relation, I don't know the reason why it broke up, but the relationship between China and Russia had broken up. USSR broken up. I can't recall the reasons. Yeah.
Now let's go back to nuclear program of Pakistan. How secure are the Pakistan nuclear weapons?
Yeah. Good question. I think they're secure. I think they're secure. The open source information is that Americans have helped to secure it. In the sense that they've given them the locks, the secure locks. They've done something to that extent. But that's about it. I can't say anything more than that.
Because there was a story which was going around after Operation Sindoor, right? When India attacked Noor Khan base, there was a claims that Pakistan stored its nuclear missiles.
I don't think there were any nuclear missiles in Noor Khan. It's well within, what we got was a C4I center. And there were rumors that a few Americans also died there. We don't know. In that, Pakistani nuclear weapons are probably stored up there, near the Chagai Hills where they did their tests and things that, and so I don't think there were any nuclear weapons stored in this area. Yeah.
So in the first place, how did Pakistan develop a nuclear missile? Because we have not seen any good number of scientists working on nuclear program. Because if we understand how each country got its nuclear weapon, there are very few countries who got by themselves. Like all other countries got the nuclear weapons with the help of other countries. So from which country did Pakistan got help?
Belgium.
Belgium.
See, have you heard of, we used to call him Xerox Khan. This chap used to work in Belgium, used to work in a nuclear facility. You use the term nuclear missile. There's no such thing as a nuclear missile. Either nuclear weapon or missile that can be used for nuclear delivery. So this guy, Abdul Qadir Khan, he was working in this laboratory, Belgium or Netherlands, I've forgotten. He worked in a laboratory and he made notes of how to make do you know how a nuclear weapon is made?
No, not.
See, basically, nuclear weapon uses one of two elements, either uranium-235 or plutonium-239. Uranium-235 is particularly good because if you take two lumps and suddenly bring them together, it will explode. It will explode whether you like it or not. But you need about 50 kg minimum. You need to keep 20 kg one side, 30 kg other side, and bring them together. So how do you get uranium? Uranium comes from the minerals. There's a thing called yellow cake. It's the mineral. That is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it contains U235 and U238. So 238 is the maximum amount of 238. Okay? The amount of U235 is very small. You have to extract it. So for that they use centrifuges. So the design of centrifuges was brought by Abdul Qadir Khan to Pakistan. That is how the nuclear weapon started, but Chinese helped them. The Chinese also gave them enriched uranium, and they also did the first test in Lopnor. I think it was 1986 or something like that they did the first nuclear test. The Chinese have helped them, and Americans helped them by, Reagan went so far as to, in their Senate, he denied that they had a nuclear program, when they knew damn well that they had a nuclear program.
Did India try to destroy their nuclear program?
No.
Why wasn't it done? Because having a nuclear country which is next to you is very dangerous. How Israel is protecting itself from Iran is a good thing, right?
One could put the question another way. Why has the US not attacked any nuclear weapon country? Why has the US not attacked North Korea? Okay? Why has the US not attacked Pakistan? So our policy is not to enter into war for these things. Israel is a different. Look at the size of Israel. See, we keep talking about India. Look at our size and look at the size of Israel. Now, Israel has gone through a terrible, all Jews have gone through a terrible genocide. And it is openly, when you look at Islamic education, in the Islamic, what are considered as holy text in Islam, Jews are meant to be eliminated. They are enemies. So Israel is in one particular condition. They have had US help. They've done that and they've gone and attacked Iraq and later Iran. There is a story that Israel wanted to attack Pakistani nuclear weapons with India's help. Is that story true or not? No. There is no Indian source that has agreed that this has happened. This may just be a rumor. I don't think it's true. It's a very popular rumor. See, it's popular in two ways. One way, we nearly did that. That is one way of popular it. Other way of saying is, we are useless fellows. So it makes a popular story, but whether there's any truth or not, I don't know. There may have been a time when we could have destroyed their nuclear facilities. I don't think it's possible anymore. You probably know that there is an agreement between India and Pakistan that we will not attack certain. We give them a list and they give us a list. January every year, even January 2025, they had given us a list and given them a list of nuclear installations that we will not attack. So we have an agreement with them. So I think this whole thing is bunkum. There is no such story. We don't know. And also, the thing is, we are slaves of America. Indians are basically, we're coolies. We have relatives who go to America and say, in America, we do this. So we listen to them. And you should go just bomb the crap out of them. So we feel that we also should go bomb the crap out of them. These things are not practical. We can't bomb the crap out. We have seen how yes, the US bombs the crap out, but doesn't finish there. The crap remains there. Doesn't go anywhere. So we need to be a little careful about what we think in our minds, what is achievable, what is not achievable. I don't think we can ever go and destroy them. It's all underground. We are going to get into a war. We are going to get into Iran or Afghanistan or Vietnam type or even Ukraine type of situation. We can't do that. We really can't do that. Yes, only thing is if they threaten us, we have to be ready to finish them off. Our nuclear doctrine says exactly that. Is it bad? Is it bad if there's going to be nuclear war? Very, very bad. We may get hit in Bangalore. But if they hit us, they're going to be hit back. It's very clear. It's dirty. There's nothing clean about this. It's dirty.
Okay. We have seen US threatening many countries around the world. But their action to countries which are having nuclear weapon versus countries which are not having nuclear weapon is very much different. As you mentioned, Abdul Qadir Khan, who was architect, so-called
Xerox Khan.
Xerox Khan, who was architect of Pakistan nuclear weapon, has been told in the media that he has shared the nuclear secrets to other countries, including North Korea as well.
Iran also.
Iran as well. So how true is that? USA being ally of Pakistan and North Korea is against USA. So how does these things work?
Ullu banao. You heard the word Ullu bana diya.
Okay.
Pakistan has Ullu banao America time and time again and they are Ullus. Seriously, it's the problem is when you're discussing international relations, it's so difficult to imagine that this has happened. They have taken the Americans for a ride and the Americans have willingly gone for a ride. See, the Americans have been in a state where we got so much money. I have friends who grew up with me in college who are now American. Oh, I'll serve my president, sort of thing. So they don't care. They say we got money, nobody will touch us. So losing a few $1 billion to Pakistan is not a problem for them. They'll throw money at it. It may be getting a problem now. Now that China has grown big and India is growing bigger, these things are changing. But for last 70 years, it's been 78 years, it's been like that.
When India tested its nuclear program, India faced
Nuclear weapon.
nuclear weapon, India faced lot of consequences. Whereas in the case of Pakistan, it didn't face much of its consequences.
They also faced, they were under sanctions. But the consequences we faced were because we were that much further ahead in technology, the LCA. They had nothing. See, you can't, like I said, you can't, when a country is in Stone Age, you can't make it much worse. Already bad there. So there was nothing much they could suffer from.
So having Pakistan as a neighbor, what it costs to India? Is it lives, money, economic growth? What does it cost?
Everything. Lives, money, economic growth, peace and stability, everything. And this is Pakistan's foreign policy. This statement would make Pakistan happy. That is their foreign policy is to cost India lives, money, economic stability. That is their, to use a French expression, a raison d'etre. That is a reason for existence. That is how Pakistan is positioned itself, and it has successfully positioned itself that way. The solutions we have tried, and I'm repeating, solutions we have tried so far have all not worked. Being friendly, showing them concessions, nothing has worked. Nothing has worked. Will hitting them work? We have to see. Gen Z will find the answer.
Initially, we had one Pakistan after the Bangladesh separation. We used to get threats from only West Pakistan, the current Pakistan. Now there are many diplomatic changes in the Bangladesh. So are we seeing or estimating the same problem from Bangladesh as well?
Yes, to a certain extent, yes. We are going to have that. Bangladesh again is not in a great situation. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. We're going to have 100 million Bangladeshis coming to India because of global warming, and the whole country will sink. 25% of that country is underwater every year. 25% of Bangladesh is underwater every year during the monsoons. Those fellows are all going to pour across. We are not going to shoot them. So Bangladesh also, on the one hand, you can have these Islamic groups saying all sorts of things, but I think they have their problems, and we have to just handle those problems and keep our relationships going, and not say. And I wouldn't worry too much about that Islamic, the chicken's neck and all that. We have it well protected. I don't think it's China that's more of a threat, but I'm sure we can handle it.
So now look at how Indians see Pakistan. We Indians believed that Pakistan is just like one among us. We believed this from the past history. Now things are getting changed. So are we getting aware about what Pakistan is?
Yeah, I think awareness is increasing. Awareness is definitely increasing. So I'm happy to see that. But what happens is, India being the sort of democracy, it becomes a political, what shall I say, game. If somebody says we will oppose Pakistan, it becomes a political game to say that you are wrong. We must be friendly with Pakistan. So this is a problem for our democracy, which is why it is important to know accurately what Pakistan has done and how it affects us. If every citizen of India understands that, they will understand which political argument is correct. Whether you can really go ahead and be friendly with Pakistan, or is there something else that we need to do, something all Indians need to know. And if a politician is lying and saying that you people are aggressive, you're doing this, you're aggravating Pakistan, Pakistanis are our people, the Indian should be able to assess whether this is accurate information or not, and work on that. And so far, it has not been accurate to say Pakistan is friendly. They're out and out against us, and they're not likely to become friendly in the foreseeable future.
Bollywood being a biggest film industry in India, there are many instances where many of the Bollywood actors or producers are taking part with respect to these terrorist leaders or Pakistani leaders. How true is that many of these have a connection with respect to terrorism?
I can't answer that question. I think in the last 40 years, I have probably watched about 8 Bollywood movies. I don't follow Bollywood. I have no idea. There are rumors that that certain groups in Bollywood are beholden or they get funding from what is called as the D Company. I have no clue whatsoever because it's not just Bollywood. There are politicians too in India, non-Muslim, so-called secular politicians who have also benefited from these links. So it's a very complex issue, but it's completely out of syllabus for me.
Can India use its water as a non military negotiation option?
See, yeah, why not? India has to use, the question is India using all the water that it's entitled to? India is not using the water that it's entitled to, and India has given concessions to Pakistan that it need not have given at all. By merely starting to use the water that we are entitled to and merely removing the concessions that we have given to Pakistan in terms of the water treaty, what happens after that is not our problem. They've been getting all access. Now we are still following the treaty. We may have suspended it. If you want to renegotiate the treaty, fine. But we are not starving them of water. We are just following the treaty exactly as per what the original treaty words were. There are certain waters that we should have used that we have not used. There are certain things that Pakistan forced us to do that we agreed that we need not have done. We just go back on that. We are not doing anything wrong at all. So Indus Water Treaty is something that's going to be interesting in due course.
India has seen lot of parties coming into power, and their action towards Pakistan has changed a lot over years. But during after this 2014, there are certain opposition leaders who wanted to take action against Pakistan differently. So, what does it make sense to normal citizens?
I don't know. You have to tell me what. I don't know. Who are these parties and what action did they want?
I don't want to mention the party names, but they wanted those proofs or they wanted to take less actions.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. See, in our country, there will always be people uh, who have certain views about what should be done with Pakistan. Okay. See, there are two different things in what you said. Wha- One is believing what Pakistan says. Other is knowing what Pakistan is. So, if it is important to have accurate information about Pakistan. What have they done, and what have we done, and how has that helped? I think we are repeating these things.
Why does world refuse to call Pakistan a failed state?
World doesn't give a damn about Pakistan. And why are see this thing, Sarma ji ka beta, log kya kahenge, na ಜನರು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? This thing of what is the other person saying. See, the worst thing about India is this external validation. You go to Kumbh Mela, tens of millions of Indians in Kumbh Mela, they will show one white woman. The foreigner is saying, oh, Kumbh Mela is so good. Foreigners, see, we are so hung up on what the other, who cares? Who cares what? We have to have the guts to say what we want. Let them say anything they like. We don't do that. What will that fellow say? Half our problem is because we're always wondering what the other guy will say. I tell you, this is a rampant problem among Indians. It's the problem that we have to solve internally. We can't get other people to talk the way you talk what you want. Not why is he saying that? Look what is even on social media, Twitter mainly for me. Look what he says. Oh, kya bol rahe? Mummy, ye kya bol rahe? We adults talk. Not mummy, but look what he's. Let him say. You say what you want.
Yeah. Is collapsing nuclear state more dangerous than the hostile one? I think Pakistan is collapsing and they have nuclear power.
They're hostile and collapsing and they're dangerous.
So now let's move to a last section, which is the current affairs, which might be directly related to India Pakistan or for India. So, what is the current status of Rafale deal?
We have got 36 Rafales. We have ordered, I think, 26 more for the Navy.
Okay.
And the government has not yet taken a decision on the rest.
Is Kaveri now a national emergency, or should India start this program again and again? Like again?
You want me to cry? You want me to cry? You know, it is so stupid. We should have poured in money and done it. And even when what is working, Air Marshal Rajkumar was posted in Iraq. And as a test pilot, the Iraqis requested him to test fly a Chinese fighter. It was all boxed up. It was in bamboo boxes. Opened the box, they found a Chinese copy of a MiG-21. That MiG-21 engine had a very short life, copied engine, but it it had better power than the one we were using. You had all the guts to work on. We've been idiots. Again, I don't know, we have this coolie mentality. We have friends. We are going to get from America. We can get from, we have good. We are democracy. They are democracy. We are democracy. They will give us stupidity. They are not going to give us any. Develop it. Put the money in. Kaveri is currently working. We have a currently working Kaveri engine. Put it in a plane and fly it. Put it at least in a UAV and do it. Don't talk. We talk too much. Of course, I believe that, GTRE, I have had a lot of friends who've complained about GTRE. Yeah, and truth or not, I think we could have done better. Maybe it should have been funded. We could have done better. We need to make our own engines, no doubt about it. It's not easy, but we need to have the guts to make our own engine and fly it. Sad thing, Kaveri.
Yeah. Now we talked about Kaveri engine, how it is important for our country to start that program again. Let's talk about the one of Bipin Rawat's statement. He mentions about 2.5 front. What exactly those 2.5 front? Is it still 2.5?
Very much so. There are internal enemies. You can see it. And, for various political reasons. Yesterday, I think we speak about this. What happened in Bengal, for instance. Now, for the first time, they had an election with no deaths. There was a lot of security. And after that, immediately, several people have been killed. And the police, they have shown, there was a photograph on Twitter of a place with maybe 100 or 200 swords. So you do have internal enemies for whatever reason. We may not be able to pinpoint on or some reason. Very often it is political. See, whatever happened in Bengal definitely had political support. What's happening in Punjab has political support from some very corrupt politicians as well. One of, for instance, Arvind Kejriwal, who was in jail for corruption. And of course, Punjab is a border state, so there's a problem from the border. And again, you have Chinese interference and problems in the east, next to Myanmar. So we have internal enemies that need to be fought as well. So 0.5 is definitely correct. But mostly they don't have tanks, they don't have aircraft, they don't have navies. So to that extent, it's only a 0.5 front, not a full one front.
But aren't they most dangerous than the other two enemies?
You should not balance and say this is more dangerous, that is more dangerous. They all have their individual danger. See, for instance, Naxalism was an internal one. It is claimed that it's wiped out recently, even after it was, even after the date, I think somebody got killed in a IED explosion. It may have been a mine that was already planted. It may not be an active Naxal attack. So, they're all a problem. You can't, it's like saying that I have got physics, chemistry, maths paper, and I feel maths is the biggest problem. I'm not going to bother about physics and chemistry. If you want to do well, you have to address all of them together.
Yeah. It's good that India is handling Naxals very well. There has been a drastic decrease in the number of districts controlled by Naxals. As you mentioned about that 0.5 front, what exactly happening in Manipur right now?
I have no idea. I'm not following that. So this is out of syllabus question.
Okay. So in the new age information warfare, how important is for any country to use the information or any of the social media?
Critical. You have to do it. information warfare. I think the other thing is, information security. I see a problem in the way we are dependent on WhatsApp, and where is our data stored? And you see things like it's happened in India as well, but recently there was a very telling image of a guy wearing a what is it called? I one of these Apple watches which tracks your movement. So this guy was running. He's on a French aircraft carrier, and he was running on the French aircraft carrier. And the aircraft carrier is supposed to be sort of where nobody should know where it's sailing. But this guy, because of his Apple phone, they knew he was on the aircraft carrier. It was showing up. So this is the sort of thing. And again, information of a communication or satellites, whether somebody is going to take a satellites down. So information warfare and space are actually becoming, excuse me, very critical. We have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. But attention is being paid to that.
Yeah.
So
Now AI is being adopted by every other country, and AI is being used in the war as well. We have seen this in the latest Khamenei's death as well. America used AI to predict where he will be in the next second or next moment with the accuracy of 98.7%. So in the coming decades, how will the war changes, or how will the AI be used in the wars?
you asked me a very, very difficult question. AI is being used for quick decision making. Once you have the adequate inputs, it can make some quick decisions. There has been some experiments, mostly in the US, not in India, as far as I know, about using AI for a completely autonomous system to make its own decisions. But it looks like that is quite dangerous. Nobody knows which way it will go. So there will always be a man in the loop. But I am told that AI is being applied in a lot of Indian systems as well, and to prioritize threats. So yes, it is useful. Although the overall uh, what AI is going to do, nobody knows fully yet. It's still a developing situation. That is as far as I can go based on what I know.
Is it great time for India to build its own LLM?
Or out of syllabus.
Okay. Huh. So every time we see some or the other country, major country supporting Pakistan, why is it? Is it because of its geographical importance, or is it because they need some country in Asia to go against India and China?
Every country has friends. Every country has friends. Every country has use for some other country. So, of course, the word that is frequently used, I might as well say it about Pakistan, is condom. They offer themselves as a condom to penetrate something or the other. So they are a great condom to for against India. Okay, so uh, that is why they do have some friends. They've built up. See, more seriously, Pakistan over the decades has sent a lot of people abroad in the humanities. And if you pay enough money, you can get into Harvard and all these places. You can Stanford, Harvard, wherever. So Pakistan has sent people particularly for humanities in Western universities, whereas we have concentrated on STEM, 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 STEM. So we have all our geeks and all our people on the technical side of things, and Pakistan has managed to populate, the think tanks, what shall I say, journalism and things like that. So they get their narrative out very well, whether it's the BBC or the Washington Post. And we are coolies because if it's in English, we listen. Oh, BBC wrote this. Washington Post. I buy. Your uncle in America will say, I buy New York Times. So this is the problem. We see all these things, and we are hooked to them. So Pakistan has done better than us in those areas.
Yeah. Can India afford not to build Great Nicobar project, which is currently?
We can afford to not do a lot of things. Probably better to build. See, as yeah, sorry, this let me. I had a very, there was. Let me just put it in the way that I put it. Once a very great Indian leader said that no grass grows in this area, so it's not important. A Chinese thought that whether grass grows or not is not a problem. They took it over. And obviously, I'm referring to Aksai Chin. So tomorrow, one more leader can say, oh, there's only some jungle and some tribals in Nicobar. Why bother? So that is wrong. Absolutely, we need to look at the security side of things. The big argument that I've seen in the media is whether it is viable to have a big, especially see you have this deep water port and you have these huge ships coming in and unloading. How are you going to get all that unloaded stuff to the main? So you need a separate set of ships going there. Oh, why not? See, the government is not spending money. You're not spending your tax money. It is private investors are going to invest. Private investors will invest in the port if they find there's going to be a profit. If they feel there's going to be a profit, let them develop the port. They will develop the port. They will also develop the ships to transfer whatever it is that need to come.
But there are two arguments, right? One who are supporting this because this can be a Strait of Hormuz of India, whereas the other argument is there must be a lot of ecological destruction. So, do we have the enough capacity to afford that ecological destruction? With respect to defense perspective, it is good to have.
We are speaking a lot of generalities. That road is bad. If it is if roads in northeast are bad, that sort of thing. Because let the Chinese should try and come through jungle. Specifically, what is the environmental impact going to be? How is it going to be mitigated? That's one thing. Hormuz of India and all is rhetoric that we need to stop talking about. Is it going to be beneficial to us or not? If it's going to be beneficial, yes. Environment need to see what they're going to do in terms of the environment. And if when it comes to national defense strategic interest versus environment, very often national defense wins over environment. Simply because the environment people are stupid enough to put a bar on things that are essential, and ultimately public opinion goes against them. There have been so many instances where they've succeeded. For instance, there was this neutrino observation laboratory that was supposed to have come in Tamil Nadu. They opposed it. They said no. Finally, I think it went to Gujarat or something. I don't know, Maharashtra, I think it went to. Then, of course, the copper plant. Then there were riots going against the atomic power plant in Kudankulam, I think. Forget which place, yeah. So, you have these people who are always saying environment. But ultimately, we have to do what is right for the nation, and just go ahead. And you know how these things come up in social media. what do you call, in Mumbai for the thing. There were a whole lot of protesters saying that the forests will be cut. And let me put some of my own thoughts, okay. I have our house has been there actually from my grandfather's time, 1935. 1945 or 46, from my neighbor's house, my uncle has taken a photo of Lal Bagh. And you can see the lake, not as 2 trees or maybe 3 trees, that's all. That area is a forest now. So Bangalore has a climate where trees grow quickly. You can grow trees. So always you can cut down trees and grow trees as well. One. The other thing is, K. Krishnamurti was a famous surgeon in South Bangalore. How did his son die? Tree branch fell on him in Lal Bagh. So, we don't trim trees. We can grow trees. You need to trim them as well. You need to take care of trees will grow. So, very often these environmental arguments are not necessarily right, but they have to be examined. And I believe the Environment Ministry has cleared this Nicobar.
NCLT.
But typically people say, oh, Environment Ministry has been bought off by Modi or something, some excuse like that, It'll always be there. Our country is like that. We have to manage our country. We have to know what our country is like.
Thank you, Shiv, sir. It has been a great time.
Welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.